What bothers me about this, why isn't the headline questioning the fact that this guy, the woman who he ultimately slaughtered and hacked and stabbed to death
Yeah.
in front of her kids, she had a protect from abuse order against him a year,
PFA, yep.
right? Before, and you know about this because in your family you have social workers and you know all about this stuff.
Yep.
So a year. So why if they knew this guy was here illegally and he was dangerous and this woman was trying to get away from him, why didn't they deport him then?
Right.
And save her life.
There's a lot of questions and failures that you can bring up with the authorities here. Taking a picture with them, I don't think is one of them.
Thank you. Well, for the first time, and this is history, overnight, union workers striking against all big three automakers. So this was midnight. The United Auto Workers, UAW union, officially went on strike against all three of the big three lawmakers. And this is at the GM site in Wentzville, Missouri. We have Stellantis Center in Toledo, Ohio, and then a Ford assembly location in Wayne, Michigan. So I guess these are going to be staggered throughout the day. But this is nearly 150,000 union workers. This is who this impacts. And yesterday they come out and we talked about it. They said that the Democrats have abandoned them. So that one going on. A lot happening this morning and a lot of.
By the way, it doesn't look like 76 is open yet. So
No.
It's still a
Heads
mess.
up.
It's still a mess. Oh my Lord.
All right, more time in the car to listen to Kayal and Company.
There we
That's
go.
right.
There we go.
When
And
there's
the big
traffic,
take.
we win.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's an exciting. I don't even think I have I'm amazed I have a voice. If you guys feel like this, because Jalen Hurts ran for a pair of 1-yard touchdowns, so 2 TDs through a 63-yard TD pass to Devontae Smith, and DeAndre Swift ran for 175 yards, and we scored. It was just great. Minnesota Vikings 34-28. I know you guys said, "Oh, we're gonna win," but it's always exciting to see the win, experience the win.
A win's a win, but it's not. They're not looking like they should.
Can they get back to the Super Bowl?
After 2 games. Well, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the little dust up between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts on the sideline.
Yeah.
Daniel, I don't know if we can grab that, if we can put that video up now, but it looked like they were. I guess he was complaining about not getting enough touches. There we go.
Great. So here we go. We got more T.O. McNabb type stuff.
There we go.
I didn't get the ball enough.
Aren't they good friends?
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
They're good, and they refused to talk about it. Nick Sirianni had to step in and say something to A.J.
2
Brown
alpha
there.
males just going at it there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an intense game.
Yeah, Gen Z gets frightened when they see these videos.
You know, you and I may yell at each other one day, when the show's not going as we want it to.
I mean, you yell all the time.
We start at 6 a.m. It's just, you're in the heat of the moment, and that's what happens. I don't think we should.
And by the way, too, the Eagles, if you're not going to use DeAndre Swift last week, please let me know. And if you're going to use him a ton last night, please let me know. Because I've gotten DeAndre Swift wrong twice, 2 weeks in a row with my fantasy lineup, and it's starting to tick me off.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
But the St. Joe's prep product looked pretty good last night.
He did, yeah.
And there was another Vikings team that lost yesterday.
I was going to ask you. I'm surprised you didn't start with that.
I know.
Yeah, you buried the lead.
I was tempted to lead with it. Germantown Academy,
beat
solid win.
On your son's birthday. Imagine that.
Baby David's birth. He's going to kill me for calling him Baby David. But
What's your kid's record now?
So his record is awesome. He's actually coming off an injury.
Oh, okay.
So, but Archbishop Wood, the Vikings. It was a great game and a beautiful day for it on David's birthday.
But the team record
GA
now
won.
is, you guys are still undefeated?
Undefeated.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear all about it tonight at 10 o'clock on the Scoreboard Show with Jeff Nolan.
That's right.
I know. I'm telling you, what are the ratings for our show here on WPHT for the high school?
They're
I mean,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Because as a parent, you just
the moms love to hear it.
oh my gosh,
The moms love to hear about their
I
kids.
can't wait for that show.
Yeah.
So much fun. The traffic's not fun if you're just tuning in this morning. Schuylkill westbound shut down, and that's 76 in the Vine. There's a horrifying situation with investigators on scene because of a pedestrian killed and apparently struck multiple times. So that's an accident investigative, scene, a death scene. So we don't know how much longer this is going to be. It's affecting eastbound and westbound now. Well, obviously westbound. NBC 10 first alert forecast for you. It's another beautiful day in store today, 76 degrees, bright sunny skies, and the weekend looks gorgeous too. So by Sunday, we go up to 80 degrees. So 76 today, 75 tomorrow, 80 degrees for your Sunday. Enjoy the sunshine. Kayal and Company Newsline.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:14 Friday morning as we get to one last big take of the week.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the big take this morning, from impeachment to indictment, but will any of it stick with the Biden family? In a matter of 48 hours, the Biden crime family has been hit with multiple eyes. First, it was President Joe Biden, who is now the subject of an official impeachment inquiry by Kevin McCarthy, James Comer, Jim Jordan, and the GOP-controlled House. And yesterday, Hunter Biden was officially indicted on federal gun charges. And we will see if either ultimately land. But there's a big difference here. Republicans are leading the charge as they come after Joe Biden and the slew of evidence that leads almost any rational adult to believe that this was a pay-for-play scheme to line the pockets of the Biden family. But Hunter Biden, as we know, is being indicted by the Biden Department of Justice. And I believe that this is nothing more than the DOJ saying, see, we don't have a two-tier justice system. Everyone is held to the same standard, Republican or Democrat. Yeah, okay. I don't buy what they are selling when we are talking about Hunter Biden and this indictment. But I do hope this leads to the deadbeat facing the music. The president's son was indicted for making false statements and unlawfully possessing a firearm. Special counsel David Weiss has led this investigation into Hunter Biden at the 23rd hour at the appointment of the Attorney General Merrick Garland. Biden was charged with making a false statement in the purchase of a firearm, making a false statement related to information required to be kept by a federal firearms license dealer, and one count of possession of a firearm by a person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance. Translation: crackheads don't get guns. According to the indictment, on or about October 12, 2018, in the District of Delaware, the defendant, Robert Hunter Biden, in connection with the acquisition of a firearm, that is, a Colt Cobra 38 SPL revolver, knowingly made a false and fictitious written statement intended and likely to deceive that dealer with respect to a fact material to the lawfulness of the sale of the firearm. In that, the defendant, Robert Hunter Biden, provided a written statement on Form 4473 certifying that he was not an unlawful user of and addicted to any stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance, when in fact, as he knew, the statement was false and fictitious. The indictment also states that on or about October 12, 2018, through on or about October 23rd, 2018, in the District of Delaware, that Hunter Biden, knowing that he was an unlawful user of and addicted to any stimulant, narcotic, or controlled substance, did knowingly possess that firearm. Fox News first reported in 2021 that police had responded to an incident in 2018 when a gun owned by Hunter Biden was thrown into a trash can outside of a market in Delaware. A source with knowledge of that day says that the police report told Fox News that it indicated that Haley Biden, who is the widow of President Biden's late son, Beau, and who was in a relationship with Hunter at the time, kind of creepy, threw a gun owned by Hunter in a dumpster behind a market near a school. The charges come after the original plea agreement collapsed this past July. And as you might recall, that was the sweetheart deal that the judge laughed at and ripped up in the face of both the prosecutor and defense attorney and said, no, this isn't going to fly in my court. Hunter Biden was expected to plead guilty in July to 2 misdemeanor tax counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax as part of a plea deal to avoid jail time on the felony gun charge. Hunter Biden was forced to plead not guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and 1 felony gun charge. Attorney General Merrick Garland tapped Weiss to serve as the special counsel with jurisdiction over the Hunter Biden investigation and any other issues that have come up or may come up related to the probe. So far, the White House has declined to comment. If convicted on all counts, Hunter Biden could theoretically face as much as 25 years in prison and fines up to $750,000. However, defendants very rarely get the maximum penalty, especially in cases like these involving nonviolent crimes and an alleged first-time offender. Now, my guess is that Hunter Biden will still get off very light. In fact, I'd be surprised if he serves any significant jail time, perhaps even jail time at all. But meanwhile, it was a good day for Donald Trump and his ongoing legal battles, specifically in Fulton County, Georgia. A great win for Donald Trump and others that did not want to be part of this speedy trial case. Fulton County judge has now ruled to sever two defendants' cases, dealing a tremendous blow to District Attorney Fani Willis and her case against Trump when it comes to RICO. Take a listen to ABC News yesterday. Here is ABC explaining the significance of this victory for the Trump team. Listen.
In the Georgia election interference case against former President Trump and 18 others, the judge has severed the cases of two of those defendants who will now be tried separately from the former president and the rest of the group. Prosecutors say they'll also hand over the names of 30 unindicted co-conspirators to defense counsel for all 19 co-defendants. I want to bring in ABC News editorial producer John Santucci and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. John, as you were watching, you were saying this is not a good day for the Fulton County DA.
Bad. I mean, Fani Willis wasn't there, but you got to imagine, Diane, she's throwing things against the wall based on this hearing. So let's start where you just began. So first, the team for the the prosecutors down there had been arguing, keep everybody together, keep all 19, because really what we learned today, we're going to have a show this fall, and then we're going to have a repeat performance next spring, which makes it incredibly difficult for prosecutors. A great win for Donald Trump and others that did not want to be part of this speedy trial case. I can tell you, sitting here with you, just texting with some of the attorneys involved in the other defendants, celebrating. Yay, victory. This is everything they wanted, was to take more time and slow this down.
It's very interesting to see the momentum here. Joe Biden, impeachment inquiry. Hunter Biden, indicted. Fani Willis takes a big L yesterday. Donald Trump with a victory for now. Are the tables turning? Probably not, but beggars can't be choosers, and Republicans can go into the weekend feeling a lot better than the current administration. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
All right, if you have thoughts and reaction to yesterday, Hunter Biden indicted, Donald Trump a good day in court, you can certainly chime in. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. On Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or of course on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT to be a part of the Kayal Company comment community. We'll come back, get some thoughts and reactions to what transpired yesterday. And the week that was for the Bidens, probably one of the worst weeks you could possibly have if you are a presidential administration. We'll go through that as we continue. Back after this on a Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hopefully you follow my over-under last night for the Birds' victory against the Vikings. By the way, Nick, $20 large right here on my desk as soon as you have a second. The NFL season is here, and now's the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get about $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV. You have to bet, or you have to do this now. You have to act on this now because the offer ends on September 18th. So if you haven't done so, go to FanDuel.com/Greg and sign up right now. Place your first $5 bet, and you can get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel.com/Greg, and is also the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch. YouTube TV redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Do you like crab cakes? Know where to get a great one? You need to go to Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company. 6 varieties of crab cakes, succulent shrimp, soups, chowders, wild-caught seafood, and desserts. Great food, fair price, the best shopping experience. We love crabcakes.com.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown. 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for that no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today, 800-300-0003.
This is Larry Steinhess of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Happy Friday, everybody. 627. Welcome back in. It's Kayal and Company. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. You can get us on the free Odyssey app or watch us live on YouTube. Loaded show this morning. All sorts of good content to get into. Some of the fallout, reaction, and takeaways from the Danilo Cavalcante arrest and some of the reaction. That's coming up in just about 20 minutes. But talking about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and the Biden family here in the Big Take this morning. And if you think about, sometimes you get to Friday and you're like, all right, so how did my week go? Did I have a good week? If you're the Bidens, here was the week that the Bidens had. On Sunday, you had the Vietnam debacle. On Monday, Joe was absent from all of the traditional 9/11 remembrance sites, New York, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. He decides to go to Alaska. He should probably just stay there. Tuesday, we had the Ignatius column from the Washington Post, which is a bat signal that's saying, hey, the left and the Democrats, they're done with Joe because if he has it and he's very credible and he's been dialed in and connected to Democrats and the politics for a long time, 73-year-old columnist, that's not a good look. Then on Wednesday, we got the impeachment inquiry into Joe. And then on Thursday, we've got the indictment of the son, Hunter Biden. That is a 5-day stretch of really bad PR. Not good when you're talking about the president and his son and the entire family. And oh, by the way, Fannie Willis, as you heard in that clip there from one of the legal analysts for ABC News, probably throwing things in her office this morning because she's ticked off because the Trump camp walked away with a big victory yesterday in regards to the concept of a speedy trial. So, Dawn, just wanted to get your thoughts and reaction. I know you were on yesterday when the Hunter Biden stuff started coming out, or maybe it was after your show, but thoughts to whether or not this will actually stick, or is this merely, like I believe, well, at the end of the day, there's not a two-tier justice system, Kayal and Company. See, we're going to hold Hunter's feet to the fire. Yeah, okay. Oh, no.
I think to your point that well, first of all, I think something may stick, but I have to look at the bigger picture, and I just think this is all interrelated. Everything Nick Kayal is talking about is all interrelated, and so I just have to wonder if everybody knows Hunter Biden is the Achilles heel of his father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just. All week, you've talked about, even the Washington Post is talking about Joe Biden. How come all of a sudden the really far left liberal media and that mainstream media and all the media is starting to say, maybe Joe's too old because he's too low in the polls?
We've got like a clip and a montage of CNN, and we'll play it later, I think, in the cut sheet, that you have all of these networks, to your point, all simultaneously, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, they've all abandoned ship on Joe Biden. They're like rats scurrying off of the Titanic as the boat goes down because they know it's over for this guy. And it just makes you wonder, like, when you add it all together between Joe's age, his mental health, his impeachment inquiry, and then the indictment of Hunter, it's almost like they might want to do like a little family huddle and say, hey, why don't we just come out and say that, we're not going to run for re-election. I'm too tired. I'm too old. I've accomplished a lot, which is BS. And then you kind of just use that as like your exit strategy, even though we know that would be complete BS. It almost makes me wonder if that's where we're going with all of this. Like, what's the end game?
Yeah. And I think it's, I hate to equate it to sports and because it's not a sport. These are people's real lives, and all of us are affected by their policies or the president's policies.
Right.
But I do think you're right with saying the end game, that it is about winning. And for Democrats, ultimately, to me, I just think when you started, was it last week or this week, that when I saw the Washington Post, I think it was a big take you did, Nick, and talking about the Washington Post is saying these things, I said, uh-oh,
right.
What's going on?
When all the apologists and lapdogs no longer vouch for you?
That to me was just weird.
Yes.
And then all, like you said, all of them get, what do they get, the memo or something?
Yeah,
the secret.
The bullet points went out via email. And now they're all barking out the same words.
The same secret spy ring in their cereal or something.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you just think to yourself, where is this going? And is part of this because they want Joe Biden to have a reason to cut a deal and to leave? Or is it that Weiss, who I know he's Trump appointed, but he's still part of the Delaware club, and we all know about the Delaware way, and I love Delaware, but everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And so on one hand, they get things done, but on the other hand, they get things done.
Yep.
So they all know each other.
Yeah.
So is this part of a pathway where they're just trying to mitigate the charges? And then again, they've waited 5-6 years, and so some of these TikTok, the most serious charges, I think they've lost because you have a timeline here.
Yep.
And at some point it expires.
Right. And unless the Democrats and the Biden camp have arrived at the conclusion that, we're really scared of losing to Donald Trump. We don't believe that Joe can beat Trump a second time around. Every time we indict Donald Trump, his poll numbers get stronger. And behind closed doors, is this the exit strategy to get a losing candidate off the ticket in 2024? But then I'm going to contradict myself, or at least throw in the opposite here. We know the way Democrats are. They'll drag you to the finish line as long as you're breathing. As long as you're a corpse with a pulse, That's good enough for the Democrats.
Ding, ding, ding. What you just said is exactly right. I mean, look at Fetterman, look at Feinstein. They don't care.
Nope.
They just want the big V.
Is Joe legally alive?
I mean, victory.
Yes.
I meant victory.
Wait a minute. Are you referring to the Virginia
Yes.
politician?
Oh, boy, yeah. But, yeah, they don't care.
Nope.
Now, the only question is that because of his age, and Trump said something very interesting about age. I'm going to play that for you at 7:45 because he did a sit-down interview with Megyn Kelly. But I do think that, the only way this could be turning is if they really think that Joe Biden can't get past Trump, then maybe they're going to use his age as an excuse. But his age itself and the fact that he's a vegetable does not mean that they want him out of there.
That's correct.
It's just an excuse.
But I think his age is, everybody keeps talking about it, his age. I think the numbers everybody's looking at is the economy.
Yep.
I think the Bidenomics numbers are, in truth, hurting Biden much more than his age. I think if right now, if he were 102 and we had an awesome economy,
nobody would care.
Right? And everything was golden and lovely. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
See, I always look at, okay, how's CNN looking at it? So I know they had Aaron Burnett had Abby Lowell on, and they were saying, oh, this is political pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And then CNN, they were all agreeing.
Right.
So I think this is where they're going with this.
Yes. And with the Bidenomics yesterday, Joe was trying to tout Bidenomics, and he actually had the audacity to compare Bidenomics to Maganomics, which I didn't know Maganomics was a thing. But if you want to look up those numbers, it's pretty obvious that Maganomics were much better for the economy than Bidenomics. But yeah, you talk about Trump making a move now for the first time in a long time. He has taken the lead over Joe Biden in the Real Clear Politics polling. Donald Trump now with a 2-point lead, according to Real Clear Politics, 48-46 over Joe Biden. And this is significant because Trump last led Biden in May, but dipped 2 points below the current president in July. So right now, if you look at it, it's Joe trailing Trump 48-46. Biden would lead DeSantis right now by 3 points. Ramaswamy would lead Biden by a point, and Nikki Haley would lead Joe Biden by 2 points. So you pretty much that's a bad look for DeSantis when you're the only Republican guy that would lose to Joe Biden in the Real Clear Politics polling. But that's where maybe the concern comes in for the Democrats, that almost unanimously across the board, every GOP candidate, should they win the nomination, would beat the current president. And that's the concern. That's why the Washington Post and Ignatius has this column. And then you have indictment, you have impeachment, and it's all starting to be like a snowball effect because they realize clock's ticking here and we're coming up on 14, 15 months and they don't want to lose power.
Well, they have to make a decision soon.
Yep.
Like if he kind of is sitting on his hands and doesn't make a decision, then he's going to be the nominee unless, God forbid, something happens to him.
Right.
So if that decision is going to be made, it needs to be made soon.
That is correct.
But, the gun that he bought at that Delaware shop, the gun shop, his attorney says it was unloaded. Have you ever heard that as a defense?
No. But that's where we are. That's the desperation level. It was unloaded. And we talked about the dumpster.
It was unloaded. He had it. He was doing drugs, but it. Come on, Your Honor. It was 11 days, and it was an unloaded firearm.
Right. Joke. Speaking of Bidenomics, very interesting poll here to wrap up this conversation on Joe and Hunter, and even tying Trump to the conversation. Very interesting that it's not so much the result, but it's the margin, and it's also the amount of people that were polled on this, Democrat or Republican. Americans trust Donald Trump more than Joe Biden to make the economy better by a staggering 11-point margin. So, we just talked about how Joe yesterday was in Maryland touting up Bidenomics and trying to compare it to Maganomics. But here are the results courtesy of The Hill. Americans trust former President Donald Trump more than President Biden to make the economy better by an 11-point margin. That according to a poll from Suffolk University's Sawyer Business School and the USA Today. In the poll published yesterday on Thursday, around 47% of Americans said they trust Trump more to improve the economy compared to 36% who said they have greater trust in Biden. Nearly 14% said they were undecided, with about 3% refusing to answer. Meanwhile, nearly 70% of Americans said they feel the economy is getting worse, while around 22% say it is improving, and 84% of Americans said their cost of living is rising. And that's the one that really stands out to me. 8.5 out of 10 people say their cost of living is rising. So no matter what Kamala or KJP or Joe say when they get in front of the media and they say Bidenomics is working, the reality is it's not. We gave you the headlines, some of the bullets yesterday, front page of the New York Post. Inflation still at 3.7% and some of the other metrics that are out there. And you can take numbers all you want, but just talk about your friends and your family and your inner circle. Do you know anybody right now that's doing backflips and cartwheels? Oh, I've got so much money I don't even know what to do with. Oh, this Christmas is going to be the best Christmas ever. This is going to be a fall where I'm going to spend a lot of money. I mean, maybe those people are out there and I'm just not in the wealthy circle. But I'll tell you right now, Dawn, I don't know anybody in my family or my circle of friends that feel like they're doing really well on any metric, any level. Whether it's energy costs, gas, grocery store, the common expenses that we all pay, that money is gone before we even get that direct deposit every other Friday. 84 out of 100 people saying, no good. And you were just talking about some of the Fed stuff. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago with, what was the latest report that just came? The CPI, the consumer prices? Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those numbers coming out. So. And now the Fed there's a lot. It's believed that the Fed once again is still going to continue to raise interest rates.
Right.
And so it's all the experts. I mean, we've talked to here on PHT. All the experts I see.
Yep.
Remind us that first of all, inflation it's something created, and it's created by our government. Mm-hmm. Number one.
Yep.
And number two, that it's basically a tax.
Yep.
And one of the estimates was it's costing us about $7,000, $7,500 a year for the average American.
Right.
But the worst of it is for the poor. It's a tax on everybody.
Yeah.
But it especially hits. I mean, obviously, it's going to hit poor people. And we talked about the fact yesterday that census study came out. This is a government study.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right wing or left wing or anything of that nature. It's just the numbers from the government saying that we in Philadelphia, poorest large city in America.
What was that, 24%, 22%?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and for the African American community, 25%.
Yep. Raise your hand if you can use an extra $7,400 each year.
Wow.
I could, but then again, I don't understand Bidenomics, apparently. 855-839-1210 is the number. Another thing I don't understand is how it could be possibly inhumane to take a picture with a guy who has murdered multiple people. We'll get to that story when we come back. The fallout continues with Danilo Cavalcante. One cop saying that the photo shoot was not ethical and it was also inhumane. And also a Philly Mag columnist says, enough with the Eagles hoodie and the Eagles football talk when it comes to Danilo Cavalcante. Apparently, you can't make jokes anymore these days. We'll get to that as we continue. Wrap up hour number one. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Kayal and Company. We're back after this.
Drive into fall in a brand new Chevy from Hessert Chevrolet with the best savings on the largest inventory in the Philly area. What's not to fall in love with? Drive the incredible 2023 Chevy Trailblazer LT, starting at $287 a month. We've got hundreds in stock, available and ready to drive home today. Online at HessertChevy.com. Find new roads.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
2023 Chevrolet Trailblazer LS, 4,000 down, 10,000 miles per year, 10 cents every mile over, 36 months. MSRP $23,785. Must qualify for Tier 1 leasing through GM Financial and have a competitive lease in household. Taxes, tags, and other fees not included. Offer expires 9/30/2023. See dealer for details.
In the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, get a head start on a career in exciting fields, including science, communications, engineering, and medicine, all while earning money for your education. This training will boost your eligibility for a high-paying and rewarding profession, and you can get it all while serving part-time in your community. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, visit nationalguard.com/PA and talk to a recruiter today. Paid for by the Pennsylvania Army National Guard.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
The New Jersey Transit Police Department reminds you that we all need to work together to keep our transit system safe. Be alert and aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD. New Jersey Transit urges you to help us keep our transit system safe. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD.
Yeah, we were just talking about businesses surviving in this economy. If you're a small business owner, you had 5 or more full-time W-2 employees for parts of 2020 as well as 2021, you can learn more about your ERC, that's the Employee Retention Credit eligibility, by visiting innovationrefunds.com. You can always call 1-843-REFUNDS and talk with a team member there. So what business has Innovation Refunds helped? You might be asking that question. And why can't I just turn to my regular accountant who does my taxes? Well, here's an example. Bill Goodman is one of the owners of Ford & Goodman. That's an accounting firm it's actually in Richardson, Texas. Huge firm. And Bill's a CPA himself. He didn't think his business would actually qualify until he spoke with Innovation Refunds. So even a CPA like Bill at his level understood just how different filing an ERC claim is from doing regular income taxes. And that's the point. This is a skill set. So go to innovationrefunds.com, innovationrefunds.com, dial 1-843-REFUNDS, determine your eligibility. And by the way, there's no upfront charge. They don't get paid unless you get paid. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. They're going to work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and then process your claims for you. Terms and conditions apply. Go to innovationrefunds.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
.647 Friday morning. Welcome back in. It's Kayal and Company. Getting it done. Another work week almost in the books. Hopefully all of you enjoyed that football game last night. The weather this morning, great. 55 degrees or something like that. Really feels like fall, doesn't it?
Yeah,
beautiful.
it does.
I love it. A little crisp, cool chill to the air as we warm up. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Cut sheet coming up at 7:45. Of course, again this morning, another great gift for the Morning Mystery Movie Clip at 9:20. And just about 3 hours from now, 9:50, one more shot for this week with our keyword for our free vacation to Walt Disney World. You're going to want to go to 1210WPHT.com once we give you that keyword. And also, people acquiring and purchasing the Kayal and Company merchandise. I know our buddy Sid Weiss yesterday tweeted out a picture of his coffee mug.
Yeah.
Which he says is heavy duty and 15 ounces.
I love this.
We all have ours here,
We
right?
do. Look at this. How about this
Look
for
at
product
this.
placement?
Here, Daniel, can you do a 3-shot of the three of us just holding up the
This is like a
Kayal
bad
and Company?
like a bad Folgers commercial.
YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Let me put this.
Yeah, baby.
But it is. It's heavy.
There we
It
go.
is.
Yeah.
Takes two hands.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
We're going there again, Dawn, huh?
The best part
Right.
of waking up is Dawn using an innuendo.
The best part of waking up is Kayal and Company in a cup.
Oh, that's
There we go.
cute.
Yep, there we go. So the mug's nice. You can get the, I guess, just go to 1210wpht.com and you'll see the link, right?
1210wpht.com. There's a link there. It's the merch store. It's the WPHT merch store, and all of it is right there. So
there you go.
Actually, Daniel, if you can put a link to the merch store on the YouTube chat, that would be great. I will also tweet it out.
There you go. All right, so a couple of things here that is I don't get, and it's a little frustrating. When you eliminate a threat like Danilo Cavalcante, that should be the lead story. And yes, of course, when it initially happened, that was the lead story. And then writers have deadlines and they have stories to fill and content to produce. So let's find something that we can complain about. Now, I don't understand this from the standpoint of the photo. And I mentioned this on Wednesday and Thursday's show that, people outside of news and politics media, sports media, people were, is the photo op really necessary? Well, I respect police. So if an officer says that this is typically not the way it's done, I'm going to take them at their word. But you've got this one column, and I've got this from the source being the New York Post. Photo of proud cops parading Danilo Cavalcante. Not ethical and really inhumane, policing expert claims. So they go on to say, and they're talking about, here's a few quotes. Quote, they're proud of their work, said Pennsylvania State Lieutenant Colonel Police George Bivens. He said in defense of the snapshot. Quote, I'm not bothered at all by the fact that they took a photo with him in custody. Now, some policing experts, however, disagree. Quote, it is not appropriate. It is not ethical. It's really inhumane, said Niles Wilson, a retired Newark, New Jersey police captain who is now the senior director of law enforcement initiatives at the Center for Policing Equity. There's that stupid word again, equity. In my law enforcement experience, I know how amped up police can get, but that's not an excuse to mistreat someone. So I don't understand the mistreating part here. How is this really inhumane? I mean, you've got, in that photo, there's got to be, 35 officers. They've got the dog, and there's Cavalcante handcuffed, staring off into space. He's got blood on his forehead from the dog apparently biting him and clamping down on him to make sure he doesn't get away. I don't understand the inhumane part. And I certainly don't want to hear about inhumane acts when it comes to a guy like Danilo Cavalcante and what he has been already found guilty and convicted of. I mean, it's not humane to kill somebody and then butcher them up like this guy has done. Now, if you want to sit there and say the photo op is not standard procedure, okay, that might be true, but I don't have an issue with it. It was 14 days. A lot of officers probably worn down, fatigued, tired, long shifts, who knows, maybe not even going home at the end of each night. At the end of the day, to me, this feels like a big stretch and a big reach and we just did a big take yesterday on the media and journalists and the state of journalism in this country. Your gripe is that the photo should not have been done. I don't understand that. But then again, when you talk about left-wing publications and mainstream media, they always seem to do something almost in defense of the criminal. His rights, his civil liberties. I don't give a damn about any of that with this guy. Get him off the street. And if you know what? You got to take a photo with him. Good. He's a piece of garbage. He should never see the light of day again. Now, I'm not saying his civil rights should be violated. Don't get me wrong there. But a photo? Stop.
Civil rights.
Stop.
Break with this. First of all, he's an illegal alien.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like civil rights. He has no civil rights.
That's true.
And he's a cold-blooded killer.
Right.
That killed somebody here and killed somebody in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the only picture I wish they would have taken is him hanging from a tree.
Stop.
Well, too, here's the other thing I've noticed with the way people operate today, because they've all been told that this dislike law enforcement, hate the police. There was more praise for the dog than the actual human officers.
Well, no.
He's such a cute little boy.
Yoda.
Yeah, come on, listen.
And with a name like Yoda.
Yeah, we're
on.
I mean, look, that's a heart touching story.
Oh, of course it is.
for
I
dog
love
people.
the dog too.
We all respect the officers as
Yes.
well, but the dog, he's he got his man.
Damn right.
Come on.
Plus, I agree with Greg, but I also think that despite all the heat sensing equipment and the choppers and the, you know what I mean, like all this high tech equipment, it ultimately came down to those officers at multiple levels and their canines.
Yeah.
And that specific, I know they used to have more canines. That's why, if you notice, Yoda is not local, right? Yoda is Border Patrol, a special TAC unit.
Well, they're not doing anything at the border anyway, so they had to put the dog to work. They're paying the dog as it is. They might as well put him to work.
But you think about it, so that unit, they used to have more canine. They've had cutbacks.
Yeah.
But I just, to me, I think, again, you know, you look at when the victim, his victim, Cavalcante's victim, brutally murdered in front of her kids, she filed and basically waved a flag for help and filed a protective order. And we know domestic abuse type victims, they were neighbors and they, had dated, but she realized that he had this Jekyll and Hyde type personality, became very violent according to that protective. This is all according to court records. But that was filed at some point in 2020. Who was the DA in Chester County? Who got all kinds of headlines? Deb Ryan in Chester County. Oh, the first woman and the first Democrat to be DA. This was under her watch.
Yeah.
And so why didn't she at that point say, hey, ICE, hey, feds, then they would have, if they had looked him up, and I don't know if they did or not, they would have said, oh, he's wanted in Brazil for murder. Let's extradite this guy. Could have saved her life, her little kids being raised by her sister, by their aunt right now, and could have avoided all of this. And by the way, an estimated $3 million of cost for the search, but more importantly, to save another Deb's life, and that's Deborah Brandow, who's the victim, who he brutally murdered. Why isn't that the headline in the Inquirer? Do you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's like they twist around and do everything they can not to talk about the actual big story.
Right.
And by the way, isn't that a story about domestic violence and women who are struggling to get out of an abusive relationship? Isn't that a great story?
Absolutely.
Philadelphia Inquirer, where are you for Deb Brandow and all the women abused? Hello?
Yes, indeed. 855-839-1210. The number. Will kick off hour 2 next. Dawn has some news. And also, 8 students charged in a riot and brawl in Abington's high school. We'll play you that when we come back. You're going to get some video. So if you've got a chance to get to YouTube, we'll get to that on the other side. As well as, can we just stop already with the Danilo Cavalcante Eagle shirt jokes? So says Philly Mag. We're back after this. Hour 2 of Kayal and Company.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Make Hatfield a part of your back-to-school routine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hatfield makes it easy to create flavorful meals in minutes your whole family will enjoy. With a wide variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham and bacon, Hatfield provides delicious back-to-school meal solutions for your family's busy schedule. So before you head for the practice fields or rehearsal, find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for easy back-to-school recipes and to find a retailer near you.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Extraordinary awaits when you open up yourself to a world of possibilities with the 150-year-old Herradura Tequila. Made with unmatched care and aged to perfection, Herradura Tequila has the sophisticated taste to make any moment extraordinary. Herradura Tequila. Available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Please enjoy Herradura Tequila responsibly. Alcohol 40% by volume, 80 proof. Herradura Tequila, imported by Brown Forman, Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Start at PI Dental Center. With the latest in digital technology to state-of-the-art treatment, PI Dental Center is a full-service practice. 2 board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, are originators of the Teeth in a Day protocol, a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth on the same day as the implants are placed. Hey, I've been a patient of PI Dental for over 20 years, and now is the time for you to invest in yourself. Visit PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 7 o'clock on the dot. Hour number 2 here on a Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45 this morning. Also, after the news, some video of the riot/brawl at Abington. This is, I'll tell you what. Good thing we have security cameras. Good thing we have people on their phones 24/7, which, by the way, before we get out of here this morning, an interesting study that shows parents on a daily basis spend more time on their devices than with their children.
Oh, what a sad.
That's sad.
So sad.
That
sad state.
explains everything.
Yeah.
That right there. That might be the biggest issue in society today. And we'll get to that as we continue. But let's get some news. 7:01 on this Friday morning, round number 2. And here is Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We are sponsored this Friday morning, September the 15th, sponsored by Piazza Premium Automobiles. Speaking of which, UAW making major headlines this morning, going on strike, an unprecedented strike. First time the so-called Big Three have gone on strike all at once. So making history in the United States of America. Union workers striking against all Big Three automakers. And it's official as of midnight. So they're doing this, apparently the first ones to go on strike at 3 different plants, but one was a GM site in Wentzville, Missouri. So they're timing this throughout the day. 13,000 in this city, 10,000 in this city, and so throughout the day. So I don't know the game plan as far as in our region, but we know that this, in total, they represent nearly 150,000 union workers across America. And the headline yesterday, the Democrats have abandoned us.
Oh, the Democrats abandon everybody. And they abandon, the cities they say they're going to fix, and they turn them into hellholes. I'm just wondering how this impacts remember when we were coming out of COVID, there was a lot of, automobile manufacturers and dealerships that were struggling to get vehicles on their lot. I'm wondering, and I would imagine that most places have, populated their inventory. But I wonder how that's going to affect some dealerships with getting, stuff on their lots with 150,000 employees.
Yeah, to your point, we already know from our friends at Piazza that everybody's talking about it. The fact that it's tough. There's a supply issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times and also there's an issue of getting them to the actual dealership.
Right, because if you remember when the pandemic shut everything down, was it one company overseas that uses the chips?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you realize how fragile everything is. If it just gets disrupted and disturbed, it's like total disaster.
Yeah, and that is one of the trends we've seen that they've been tracking is that many authorities and investigators have said they believe, for example, the carjackings happening here in our region, that the carjackers, let's say they'll go over the Ben Franklin Bridge. Remember that was the Igor story where the fighter was running after the vehicle, and the carjackers then went across the Ben Franklin Bridge. So they believe a lot of those carjackings, a lot of them are motivated by the fact that these are crime rings and that they're harvesting needed materials from the vehicles.
Yep.
And so some of this is not just, some random thug. It's actually an organized situation. So we're looking at that story this morning and the many angles to it. What's the cost to all of us, but also impacting our region and those union workers in our region, and obviously putting on the pressure on the Biden administration. One of the points that Ford made was that they wanted a 4-day work week. And some of the automakers are saying some of these demands are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll, talk about that moving forward. That's one of our headlines. Another huge headline for people heading to work this morning that you should know of is that since the wee hours of the morning, there was a tragedy with a pedestrian walking on the side of I-7, the Schuylkill Expressway 76. And so they had part of the Schuylkill actually westbound shut down, impacting both eastbound and westbound traffic. And we don't know, we don't have the information as far as the death of this individual on the highway, obviously struck by multiple vehicles. So that's a major investigation underway, and we don't have the details.
My sources are telling me he had the under last night, and I'm just kidding.
I thought you were about to.
Sorry,
you got me on that one. I was like, what?
I'm such a bad person.
Has some information.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, and Nick will have more details on this headlining for you, a huge brawl inside Abington Senior High School that happened yesterday, ending with the arrest of 8 teenagers. No serious injuries, but this in part is thanks to the quick response of Abington Police's school resource officers. And these teens facing very serious charges, including riot and simple assault. We've been talking about this. And, of course, Abington's police chief, Patrick Malloy, who's called into this show, Nick has interviewed him before, says the fight is one of many between the same two groups of students. So they're investigating that one and trying to keep all the kids safe.
Yeah, we will. We have the video, so I think we'll do a little tape analysis here post news. But we mentioned two groups of students here. We're going to need information on that. Like what are what are these groups? Are they gangs, or are they like groups that identify with something politically? Is this just a little tussle between little cliques in schools?
Yeah, they're not saying the gang word.
Okay.
And I know, we know
'cause that's offensive.
Yeah, so I know that they've dedicated officers, school resource officers. If you drive by the high schools, and like Abington High School, if you drive by there, you'll see the PAL officers, you'll see the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been having issues, but they try to work with these kids and try to intervene and get them off a path.
Right.
That's not a good path.
Correct.
And that's important, and try to relate to the students. But they say a lot of this stems from a lot's happening on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an important piece that we've heard over and over, that social media fuels the fire, if you will.
Yep.
And then it bleeds into school, impacts all of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to talk about the fact, and there was a question at that famous news conference that we were covering live here, and that was the Cavalcante news conference that happened and it happened live on our air when they captured this escaped killer. And there was a news conference, but there was a question that everybody thought, that it was some kind of a jokester, much like if somebody calls, here into Nick Kayal's show and you say, oh, it's a prankster.
Right.
That happened at the news conference.
Right.
And they quickly escorted that guy out. So we're now hearing that so-called, that he was asking about the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
And
I think that was something connected to Barstool.
Was it Barstool?
It was some site, yeah, because people were taking like a victory lap for it.
well, I thought he was from, I thought when I was at the event in Delaware County, this week, they said it was a comedian from Delco.
Oh, okay.
So we have to look into that, but that has gone viral, and even Forbes. It was weird who picked it up,
right?
But a lot of people were talking about it. But the comic Mike Rainey, who's a Philadelphia area comedian, and he does some different podcasts.
Interesting. Wonder how he even got into that setting. I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to be. I mean, I don't know. Are you vetted when you show up to a state police press conference, or can anybody just kind of?
No, you can. I mean, you can. Back when Howard Stern was funny,
when he came out of his house,
he used to send Stuttering John out to
true.
all these press conferences.
Yeah. Stuttering John.
So I mean, yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can get credentialed, I guess.
Okay.
For whatever you need to.
All right.
But I guess his idea was he was thinking about the Little Rascals because Cavalcante, everybody was joking about the fact that he's a petite little guy.
5 feet 120. I saw the video and the question, and there's multiple angles of it, and then there's another video angle where the officer addressing everything at the press conference looks to his right, and I don't even know that he realizes that he's being. I mean, he's hitting there trying to do his job.
Yeah.
We just, you just apprehended, an escaped convict, a felon that's committed murder, and you've got this guy asking a question about the Little Rascals, and he's just like, no, next question.
He handled it. I mean, he handled it perfectly.
Oh, absolutely.
Lieutenant Colonel Bivens did.
Yes, he did.
Like, no, and he just moved on.
But like, you're in that moment. I don't even know that he realizes that he was kind of being clowned or trolled or whatever you want to.
He said, sir, was there any concern he, meaning Cavalcante, would team up with another small man to step inside a trench coat, Little Rascal style? And that was his.
Maybe if he would have done that, he would have escaped and he would have made it to Canada or Puerto Rico.
But that one, that one has gone viral, so I just thought I would mention it.
Yep.
Of course, the big story for us in Philadelphia this Friday, many people probably coming in late to work, and you can always blame the shutdown of the Schuylkill and the hot mess on the Schuylkill. But our Philadelphia Eagles, victorious, and one of the headlines as we won, Jalen Hurts 2 touchdowns, 63-yard TD pass to Devontae Smith, and DeAndre Swift making a lot of headlines, obviously because he is an alum of St. Joe's Prep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's exciting to have somebody who's born and raised here, went to the Prep, and then to see him like this.
Mm-hmm. It was a homecoming of sorts, really.
It is. That's great.
Yeah, because he went from St. Joe's Prep to Georgia, and then he went to Detroit for the NFL draft, and now he gets to come full circle and come back home.
So what a great, great story, and I think everybody loves to see that.
Yep.
NBC 10 first alert forecast this morning, much of the same that we saw yesterday, 76 degrees, beautiful, crisp, obviously in the 50s this morning. That's your Friday forecast. And then we move into the weekend as far as a lovely weekend, a little warmer on Sunday, but 76 tomorrow, bright sunny skies, breezy, and Sunday, 80 degrees. So returning to 80 mid-September. And another beautiful sunny day. More clouds moving in, but high clouds on Sunday. So a lovely day. We're sponsored by our friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles. Discover the luxury of the Mercedes-Benz lineup, including the midsize GLC SUV, as well as the fully electric EQ models. Just test drive today. Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and now Atlantic City. Thank you, Piazza Premium Automobiles, for being our sponsor of Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 7:13 here on this Friday morning. We'll break down the brawl that happened at Abington Senior High School in just a few minutes. We've got the video, so if you want to get on over to YouTube, you can do so. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. This thing's stemming from a lot of issues on social media. Surprise, surprise. Social media is the aggravating factor, so to speak, when it comes to these things, and we'll do that on the other side. 855-839-1210. That's coming up next as we continue Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
There's nothing like football season. And this year, fans in Philly can listen to Penn State football free. Catch every Nittany Lions game live with Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free on the Odyssey app. Every touchdown, every tackle, every win. All right here. To get started, download the Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY. And search for WPHT. Available for Philadelphia listeners only.
You got to join me and join the Bet Park Sportsbook app, and you're in the zone, the official sportsbook app for the real Philly sports fan. Odds, bets, slots, and games all right in your pocket. Live betting. Nobody does live in-game betting better than Bet Parks. Bet on the action as it's happening. So join me. Just download the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers, and I hope you did this yesterday morning when I asked you to, but if you haven't, new customers, you make a winning bet, $10 and get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. So college football Saturday, Penn State on the road in Illinois, and then Monday night, early line has Cleveland favored as they travel to Pittsburgh. Cleveland now a 2-point favorite at Pittsburgh, and the over-under on that one, 39 points. The Bet Park Sportsbook, the only sports betting app I use myself and that I ever recommend. It's safe, easy to use, live betting, parlays, props, teasers. They have it all. You love to play. You love to win. You bet. Bet Parks. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don Stensland this morning at 10. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
To let me know, should I stay or should I go?
It's Kayal and Company, 7:17. Happy Friday to all of you. Hopefully your workday off to a good start. Dealing with that shutdown, 76 westbound. 855-839-1210, the number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. And, of course, you can be with us on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. So, Dawn mentioned in the news this morning that 8 students have been charged after a fight at Abington Senior High School. And the police said that the fight broke out at around 11:30 in the morning in the school. And an Abington police school resource officer, school personnel, and the school's security team broke up the scrap. After the fight, police arrested and charged 8 different teenagers with riot and simple assault. Police now investigating the incident and said more charges may be filed against other students. Nobody seriously injured in the incident, according to police. So if you have access to YouTube, go on over there now. We're going to actually play the video for you.
Well, I don't know if we are or not because we're still in the commercial. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, we're on.
Never mind.
Big
Never mind.
delay.
Sorry.
All right,
it's all good.
So there we're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so youtube.com/at1210WPHT. And Dawn had mentioned that this was stemming from stuff that started on social media and then spilled over into school grounds with these students. So let's go through this video and try to make sense of some of this here, and we'll do the best we can to narrate it for you and illustrate things on the radio for those of you that are listening either on 1210 or on the Odyssey app. All right, so it's obviously recorded from a cell phone of a student, and this is a real. I mean, this is every bit of a brawl.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's got to be at least 50 to 100 kids in the hallway.
Yep.
You've got security officers. You've got jackets being thrown, people on the floor.
And this is Abington High School.
This is Abington Senior High.
Yep.
Montgomery County.
Yep, of course.
Okay, so it's about a 30-second clip. Let me just start with this. I don't know what it is. Now, granted, there's security there, there's police, so the proper people that should be intervening are there. But I don't know if you find this disturbing or if this is just a documentation era that a documentation era that we live in. Whatever happened to trying to help somebody out? Like, our first instinct now is to start recording.
It is.
Have you noticed that?
Yes, it is. And everybody wants to document everything and be the first to, upload this. And look, we're playing it, so they're doing what they meant to do.
What is the objective? What's the motivation behind that? Is that for the aha gotcha moment to say that officers or police or authorities overstepped their bounds and violated somebody's rights? I don't know when that became such a thing. And I know we live in this world of selfies and we've always got to prove our existence via social media. But what is the motivating factor to immediately pull your phone out?
I don't know.
That's what I would love to know.
It's people's appendage these days.
Yeah.
I mean, people can't live without it. You're gonna read that story, that study about the parents spending more time on their phone than with their kids.
Yep.
It's it's just the world we live in. I just I've been being in school in the 90s. Like I've seen fights, big fights.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like this, but this is nothing new in my opinion. I just think that it's just that now we have video that shows it, and it's splashed all over the media, and it's like, well, look, kids these days.
Well, there are social media feeds that are dedicated to school fights and brawls.
Yeah.
You can find a Twitter account that just documents these and go down the timeline and watch these videos, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers. People actually seek out this content, which is really the staggering part.
I mean, I do sometimes when it comes to the cut sheet, so shame on me.
Well, yeah, but at least it's for work purposes.
Yeah.
I just my question on this is that there's a difference. Let's say Abington High School, and by the way, this school district, one of their problems that they have is kids who live on the border, because this is Montgomery County.
Yeah. Okay.
Kids who live in Philadelphia and family will try to go to these schools.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons is, look at how they have the resource officers.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God they had those officers right there to, first of all, show all of those kids lined up. And like you're saying, it looks like a ton of kids out in the hallway.
Yeah.
Imagine the disruption that's going on in school, but also a level of intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
So these officers are there to say, we're here, we're keeping everybody safe, we're keeping the order, and we're going to extract. They've arrested 8 kids.
Right.
So that's very different than something that might happen in Philadelphia, or even, I'm going to point out, like Ocean City, where they have the presence of cops, but you're not allowed really under the Murphy administration. The police there were handcuffed as far as arrests.
Yeah, which is outrageous. Which is
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. These officers go in, and what are they doing? They're trying to intervene in these kids' lives, even the ones causing the violence.
Yep.
To figure this out, why are you guys fighting? But to save their lives and put them on a different path.
Right.
To say this is not who you want to be.
Right.
But it also, for all the majority of the kids instead of focusing, like social media does on the ones with the bad behavior, they're also telling all the kids who are just sort of victims as this is happening in your school, this disruption. They're saying, we respect you.
Mm-hmm.
We respect your teachers. We want you to go on with your school day and feel safe and be safe.
Yeah.
And so this is the right way to do it.
Right. Well, and then you talk about the disruption. You have, quote, innocent bystanders that are in the hallway, going to their locker or whatever. Next thing you know, that person gets punched or gets knocked into something, gets injured.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have other classrooms in that hallway that are being disrupted with kids that are actually in a class learning. And, of course, as soon as that breaks out, teacher has to stop the lesson and open the door or lock the door, and then the kids are distracted. And then in that video, it looks like there's, like, glass windows. I don't know if that's, like, the cafeteria or something.
Yeah,
and they're, like, banging on the window, like encouraging it and throwing, essentially gasoline on the fire.
Can you put up the video again, Danny, if you could? So, Dawn, I know they're not saying this, but they are alluding to the fact that there's some sort of gang rivalry.
Yes.
Here. In Abington. Wow.
Yeah. Well, you did say right on the border of Montgomery and Philadelphia County, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's, there's gangs everywhere, but certainly more in Philly than in Montgomery County.
I know, but I just, when you think of Abington, you don't really think of gangs, right?
Right.
I mean.
But then again, you have this, when we were in high school, and I was in high school from 98 to 99 to 02, there was, we didn't have social media, but that was like the AOL instant messenger internet era. And, everybody would message each other, and then there would be fights that would start out with people messaging each other and harassing each other. And then the next day at school, it wasn't finished. Nobody de-escalated it. And then you might have got into a fight in gym or in the cafeteria or in a classroom.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. It's just we've gone from, like, the AOL instant messenger era to the social media gratification smartphone era.
Mm-hmm.
And, to my knowledge, I don't remember having cell phones in 2000 that had video capabilities. I don't even know if we had cameras on our phones back then, to be honest.
No.
You were just happy to have text messaging.
Yeah.
So this is, but then this stuff gets glorified. And this, hey, I want to go viral, man. Let's go viral. Can we get 1,000 likes on this? They're like stalker pandling for clicks.
But part of it is, though, and you make a great point, that if the police weren't there, the longer this video went on, they're able to glorify it.
Yep.
And so the police presence there makes it a different video of these 8 now under arrest, and they're facing serious charges.
Yeah.
Causing a riot and aggravated assault. And so they are being extracted from this environment, which keeps everybody else safe.
Mm-hmm.
But think about let's say you're a teacher in Philadelphia. We never talk about this. We have a teacher shortage. You're a teacher, and we've aired video of teachers in other parts of the region and the country being assaulted. So you're a teacher in Abington, okay, the cops were here.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, they're going to extract the ones who are now accused of serious. They're done. They're out.
Right.
And now we're safe.
Yep.
And that's something that we're not doing as well as effectively in the city of Philadelphia and other areas.
If I was a teacher and had my teaching degree, there's no way I would teach in some of these cities. Like I would teach out in the suburbs, Bucks County, Montgomery County. The money's better, less drama. But we played you that video a while back of the teacher who took I guess it was like the Nintendo Game Boy or whatever they call it these days.
Yeah.
And that kid ran down the hallway and clotheslined her from behind.
Yep.
And I know we always say this, that this stuff has gone on forever. It's nothing new. I just think in the 24/7 news cycle, the social media era, yes, we've debunked the mass shootings at school shootings, the occurrence of them. We gave you those stats 5-6 months ago or whatever it is. But between, the fights, the social media, the teachers with the indoctrination, the pronouns, I think collectively from the moment you get to school till you go home, and I hate to be like, well, it just seems different. And I don't want to say it's worse because maybe the stats don't bear that, but it just feels like school has just taken on such a negative connotation these days.
Of course it's
for some kids.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But it was different when we were in school, when Dawn and I were in school, when you were in school. Like, it's different from when we were in school to our parents. So yes, every generation it's a different era. The only thing that I'll say it again. The only thing different about this is, and the school that I went to, we didn't have a gang problem, but like the only thing different in this with the fights and stuff is just that it's recorded. It's not. It's fights are not anything new to high schools.
Right.
They happen all the time.
Then you throw in parental rights, which we're dealing with in Bucks and other school districts. We highlighted that in a big take. And then, oh, by the way, kids being a year and a half to 2 years behind where they need to be in reading or math or whatever from the pandemic. I'm sitting here, Dawn, luckily your kids are almost done with high school. My kids are only halfway through the schooling. I'm thinking, what's it going to be like in 5 years from now when they're freshmen in high school?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's just it. So for people who, looking at this with young kids, that's why we've seen the population, let's say in Philadelphia schools, we've lost tens of thousands of kids because families are just thinking, oh, no, I'm out. And they're looking out of the city, just trying to get out. The problem is with this economy, and then with the price of rent, the price of homes, if you're in a working poor or poorer situation, even if you can qualify for some kind of a voucher as a working individual, you can't get out of the city. You're trying to escape, but you can't.
Right.
And Bidenomics, in my humble opinion, is keeping you in an area where you don't have school choice. You're stuck. And that's the frustrating situation. I appreciate you bringing this up because it makes me think of the fact when you then went to talking about pronouns and whatnot, all these different school districts, all we're talking about is, we need more money dedicated to help the kids who are dealing with pronouns. I don't think any of the kids in the video that Greg Stocker is showing, I don't think they're thinking about pronouns.
No,
it's true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where money, they want the money to go, but that's not where we need more school resource officers. Because if you see those officers in the video, by the way, a diversity of officers as far as their ethnicity, and I saw officers. I know that they're trying to hire officers who reflect the community. I know one of the ones at PAL who I will see tonight, Hispanic, woman, American woman who's now a police officer. You saw the African American officers there, and so these are role models in the community who are working with the kids and saying, hey, you should become a cop someday.
Right.
And that's the kind of positive energy that we want in our schools. And so to dedicate all this money for pronouns or training that teachers have to take, that the teachers are forced to take this stuff and training and money because, you as a teacher, you need to know if there's a kid in the LGBT plus community, you need to be fully trained. I don't think the teachers in Philadelphia are worried about that as much as being clocked by a kid who's recruited by a gang.
Right.
HB Growler on YouTube says, don't forget about the kid with the gun at the Abington football game just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, well put.
What is happening in Abington? I mean, clearly there's some gang issues there.
Well, wait a minute. Like Hunter Biden, maybe it wasn't loaded.
Well, and Newman Price says Abington has had the out-of-district kids for a long time, but it's still not as bad as Cheltenham.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yep. All right.
Which is right there.
It's just funny. You drive through. I drive through Abington all the time. I live around there, and it's not an area that I would be like, wow, there's definitely gang issues here.
Right.
All
right. 855-839-1210. If you want to climb in, what's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45? We will give you the audio and the video that we referred to referenced in the 7 o'clock news with the Delco comedian that showed up at the Cavalcante press conference, and we'll do that on the other side. A little cut sheet hors d'oeuvre, as you would like to say. It's Kayal and Company. We are back after this here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The NFL season is here. Now is the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed plus. This is a big plus. All customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. But you got to act now. If you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? You have to act now. This offer ends 9/18. 23. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg. Sign up right now and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over. Present PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Do it now. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account, a current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-723-5330. That's 1-800-723-5330. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-723-5330. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight ILD.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh. The button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Eagles are 2-0 after a 34-28 win against the Vikings in Thursday's home opener. Hunter Biden has been indicted on federal firearms charges after a plea deal fell apart. The CDC is warning COVID, RSV, and influenza could strain the healthcare system this cold and flu season.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more. Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with Brian and Joe Dougherty of Advocacy United this Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get the latest on this ever-changing important issue. Labor and Energy this Saturday at 7 p.m. here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Looking for a new Ford? Winter Ford has the vehicle for you. Choose from our large selection of new F-150s, Explorers, Escapes, and Bronco Sports today. Winter Ford also takes care of you after the sale. Stop in their service department with no appointment necessary. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
Calling on Media PA to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
.37, Kayal and Company, rolling on live here Friday morning. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo. Cut sheet coming up in just about 8 minutes. Also, we will play you the audio and the video of Delco's Mike Rainey, the comedian that somehow showed up at the press conference after Colonel Bivens was taking questions from the media following the apprehension of Danilo Cavalcante. And he brushed that off very quickly. I'm not even sure he was aware of the joke, but we'll get to that in just a few moments. But we've been talking about, for about the last 15 minutes, the brawl, the riot that happened at Abington High School. And Chris is in Pottstown. He's got some thoughts on that, and he's on Talk Radio 1210. Chris, you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I enjoy your show. Been listening to you guys for quite some time now.
Thank you very much.
I know I'm going to say something that I didn't tell your call screener is the country's going to hell in a handbasket. You have kids who don't respect themselves. How are they going to respect anybody else or anything else? In regards to, I'm going to bounce all over the place. I apologize.
Yeah.
But you mentioned about the resource officers in schools. It doesn't matter whether they're white, black, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. The kids do not respect any level of authority. They don't respect their parents because they're not taught respect by their parents. So how can, anything positive become of this?
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. You have parents who don't care, who send their kids to school, and they expect the school to do everything for them. A very good friend of mine is a teacher near where I live, and she's dealing with a kindergartner who's not even potty trained.
My God. Yeah.
Wait, as somebody who has a 3-year-old who's not potty trained yet, it's not as easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, Chris.
Yeah. But if you think about this, and to Chris's point with parents not being a part of their kids' lives, we'll get to the story with some of the details and the facts later. But the theme is that parents, according to some studies, are spending more time on their phone and their device or devices than they are with their children. So if you don't have that parental impact on your kid, and then your kid goes to school, and your kid just spends time on social media and has no respect for authority because maybe the kid himself is going through these identity crises, or we now know post-pandemic a lot of children dealing with anxiety and depression and all sorts of other mental health issues. And then you've got a school resource officer who tries to, de-escalate it, and the kid looks at him like he's a piece of garbage. I don't have to respect you. And then it's just a snowball trickle-down effect that leads to the issues we're talking about here.
I'm going to disagree a bit and to say, the ethnicity of those officers does not matter. Yeah, it does. Because when you're being told by so much of society and online that as a black kid, a black boy, let's say, or a black teen, that you're a victim. How often do we talk about this? Because that's a talking point. And I think that it does matter. It does matter that African-American officer is in officers are in that school, and also female officers, to say, you can be like me. And that is as a result of exactly what we're talking about, because sometimes they don't have parenting. Their parents are not their role model. Their parents are not doing the right things. And so to have that adult in your life who looks like you, okay, and especially there is a yearning. I'm a mom of boys. I can tell you that.
No, really?
Boy, I know it's a shock. I've never told you guys.
I thought you had 3 girls.
I know. See, but when you have boys in your life, you know how much they crave their dad, and they crave those male role models. Part of that goes back to the media and social media, as well as general media, that is constantly slamming boys and men because they don't want alpha males. They don't want that. You crave men.
Well, I remember as a kid growing up, my dad told me 2 things. He says, I'm your best friend, but I am also going to be more difficult and hard on you than any other person will be in any walk of life you experience as you grow up, because my job is to get you prepared for the real world.
Yeah.
And I always remember those 2 things.
And think about that, what you're saying, the yin and yang of, for me, my boys can do no wrong, and I'll always make it right. And my husband, is the one who's tough on them. And that's why when you see a single mom she is so incredibly tough, right? Because she has to be both.
Yep.
And we see that often. But I disagree with you that the ethnicity doesn't. Yeah, it really does. And I will say with Abington tonight at Salem Baptist Church, you will have a ton of teenage boys there. And they are there with those Abington police, those resource officers, and they're playing ball and dodgeball and this and that, and they're interacting. These officers are right in there interacting, and they are the difference in the path of these young men and these boys.
Let's also not forget, too, we talk about it at an adult level, the defund the police movement and the demonizing and demoralizing of police and security and resource officers. But there's got to be a trickle-down effect to the children in schools because they're not stupid. They're on social media. They see this stuff. And you've got the media, you've got the Democrats, you've got the left that just broad brush authority as overstepping bounds, violating rights. They're the bad guys, not the good guys. And then you take that and let's say in the pandemic, you were at home, virtual schooling. Let's say you were 14, 15, 16. Now you're back in school and you have acquired this thought that authority, I don't have to listen to it. And if they violate my rights, so it goes all the way down. It's not just like, adults, in the post-George Floyd aftermath. I got to imagine that there are teenagers that feel the same way, that they look at cops as like, oh, I don't got to listen to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just it. To your point, you don't want the us and them attitude. And so the more officers, and these are physical bodies who can be within our schools working with, and there's another piece of it. The famous line is, hey, if a kid knows an officer and that officer knows the kid, knows their name, knows their mom or grandparents or whatever, that makes it different in any community.
It's the community-oriented policing approach.
It is.
Yeah.
And so in a place, and I get it, Philadelphia is a huge city compared to neighboring Abington, but I will say we have to return to the thought of community policing, even in our big city of Philadelphia, to treat each neighborhood as a community. We've gotten away from that.
Yeah.
And so that the officers are not, even in the Chestnut Hill neighborhood where I live or Mount Airy, you used to have the bike cops. You knew them by name and they knew you and your kids.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of all of that.
And I think you can do two things at once. I think you can readopt, I should say, community-oriented policing while still imposing law and order. Because you create that relationship, you know the person's name, you know the parent's name or the grandparent's name or the kid's name, but also at the end of the day, we're going to enforce the law, and if you violate the law, we're going to prosecute you, and you're going to serve time or whatever. It's not like it can be one or the other. You can do both. You foster those relationships, but at the same time, when you need to lay the smackdown on somebody, you do it. And, of course, nowadays, you can't do that because everybody's recording and, oh, he violated my rights, so forth and so on.
Yeah. But think about the difference of feeling supported. And so in a place like Chester County, where we saw those officers being supported, Abington, they're being supported. In Philadelphia, the feeling is that there's a culture where the mayor, where Krasner, where the leadership doesn't support you as an officer. I think that's a huge part of why we have a recruitment crisis.
Hard to do your job or want to join that profession when they don't have your back. Kutchi coming up in just a moment. Tom is in Washington Township. Tom, you go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I had a business in Mount Airy for 30 years. I just recently closed it. And I would always speak to a lot of the parents because I like to talk, would come in my store, Abington and Cheltenham, and they were telling me for a couple, 3, 4, 5 years now, part of the problem was they were getting these children from Philadelphia, and they were disrupting things in the classrooms. And this has been going on for a while now. And it's just everything escalates. It's not good. It just didn't start this week. Dawn, you would know who I am. I was a friend of Joe's. I just recently closed my store. But that's part of the problem. I mean, again, there's nothing like talking to parents that have to live this with their children.
Yep. So
and
Tom,
nobody ever wants to speak about that.
So Tom closed his store and he likes to talk. Greg has an overnight hosting position available if you would like it, Tom.
Greg, I'm a trip. I'm like a comedian, but that's another issue.
Yeah. All right, Tom. Well, thank you so much for the call, and we appreciate you for checking in. 855-839-1210. All right, 7:47. It's a Friday. Let's get to another edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Friday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where Costco members save even more. Purchase a certified 2020, 2021, or 2022 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an additional $1,500 off just for listening to Kayal and Company. Can you imagine that? Visit Cherry Hill Volvo today. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Thank you, Judith Yosef and the entire team at Cherry Hill Volvo for sponsoring the Friday edition, always the best edition, of What's on the Cut Sheet. You guys brought up this Delco comedian, Mike Rainey. He asked the question at the press conference when they caught the scumbag, and they asked, because he's a short guy, he asked the question if they were afraid that he was going to escape by doing Little Rascal style, if you remember the trench coat and the 2, 3 on top of one another. He explains why he was at the press conference and why he asked the questions. This is K2, gentlemen.
Out to Chester County to film content for my true crime podcast, Little Stinkers. And I was just finishing my coffee. I was about to leave the house, and I saw the news that they had caught him. And it's like, yeah, as a human being, I am glad they caught him. But as a podcaster, I'm like, so I saw that they're having the press conference not far from me. I live in Delco, so they're like, all right, Kennett Square is not too far. So I drove there, not knowing if I could get in or not. But I saw a dog standing in the bay where they have one of the fire trucks. And I'm like, all right, if they're letting dogs in, they'll let me in. Walked in there, and it's like all serious news people. And there were a couple like people from the community, and people started asking questions. So like, all right, maybe I could ask a question. Sir, is there any concern that he would team up with another small man to step inside the trench coat, Little Rascal?
No.
Yeah, what's up, Lieutenant Colonel? First time, long time. They were very nice about it. About 30 seconds after I asked the question, a gentleman from the state police tapped me on my shoulder. He's like, are you with the press? I was like, well, not technically. He's like, you need... And I had to walk out through like this small army of state troopers. And not for nothing, but I drove there on a suspended license, so I was hoping they wouldn't tail me.
Wow. Oh, my God.
And that's the question that I posed earlier. And now we got the answer that the officer went up and asked, are you with the media or the press? And he's like, all right, well, you got to leave. I didn't think that you could just allow anybody to show up. Or maybe you can as long as you don't say something. But once he obviously asked this stupid question as a joke and a prank, he kind of blew his cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was at the local firehouse. So, yeah, I mean, anybody could technically could go to it. But
I just thought maybe you have to like show ID or your lanyard or your little press pass that you wear around your neck on the little, the little keychain type thing that you carry.
Not necessarily, but
interesting.
Because I think freedom of the press. I mean, you could be a citizen there who wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah, it's true.
But I do think, he got the dirty looks because if you're a reporter in that scene and everybody's been, you've been interviewing law enforcement working 24/7. You've been interviewing all the people in the community who've been impacted by this. It's a very serious story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that he was trying to bring a moment of levity.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, this is, I don't know, it's like the old saying, too soon.
Yeah.
This is a serious news conference. People want the information. It's
Little Rascal style.
It's fun. It's funny. Relax. Not everything needs to be serious.
And Bivens is like, no, we never can know.
I think it's great. In fact, I'm going to start sending Valdez out to ask stupid questions.
We should do that.
It's a great idea.
That would be hilarious.
It's a great idea. We can admit, we stole it from Howard Stern when he was funny.
Yeah,
you guys remember yesterday we played the clip of Nancy Pelosi on with Anderson Cooper. Yeah. Anderson Cooper asked if Kamala Harris should be the vice president for Joe Biden. And she just wouldn't say yes.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks...
Joe thinks so.
He thinks so. Asked again. She wouldn't say yes. Okay, maybe that's a one-off. Maybe that's just Nancy Pelosi. Jamie Raskin was on with Jake Tapper yesterday. Congressman Jamie Raskin. He also dodged this question.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Tapper asked him 3 times.
Yep.
3 times. He will not. They're like, well, yeah, she's done a lot of great things. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Everything is great. But he won't answer the question. And Jake Tapper's like, I don't understand why you're not asking this question. There's something going on here.
Okay.
Cut 9, gentlemen.
I mean, there didn't seem to be anything wrong with that answer. Obviously, President Biden, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, for that matter, all of us have been laboring under just a deluge of propaganda, disinformation, and criticism by the MAGA right. This is a rule or ruin faction, which takes the position that if they're not going to be able to control the direction of government, they are going to throw grease in the gears to try to shut everything down. And what we're all dealing with right now is this impending September 30th deadline, because the MAGA right wants to shut down the government.
You are doing what Speaker Pelosi did, which is not answering the question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden?
Is it? Well, obviously, she gave the right answer. That's President Biden's choice.
Would be
and
my
I think
choice.
She's an excellent running mate for President Biden. You know, I don't know what more needs to be said about that. Obviously, people are still trying to, throw presidential politics into turmoil, but President Biden and Vice President Harris are running on an excellent record. $1.2 trillion investment in infrastructure, the Inflation Reduction Act, record investment.
This is unbelievable.
Nothing to do with the question.
No.
We've reduced prescription drug prices, and so there's a very strong
Jake
policy
Tapper looks like his
record
head's going to explode.
to run on there.
You have to
and
see the
I
video.
wanna
Like, Jake
resist
Tapper's
the
like,
tendency to
he
try
just won't
to
answer this.
trivialize all politics by making it just about personalities.
It's not no one's making it about personalities. I mean, it's just a simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? You've said she's excellent. That's farther than Speaker Pelosi went. But do you think she's the... I'm not trying to throw anything into turmoil. I actually think it's a pretty simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't know what else I can say other than she
You can
would
say
be
yes.
an excellent running mate and an excellent vice
I would have
president.
bailed.
I don't know whether President
We'll talk
Biden
to you.
has named his running mate. We're going to a convention next summer. It's a year away from now.
I'm going to stop right there because we may have been talking over it a little. He says, I don't know if he's named his running mate yet.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That's she
I'm gonna,
is the running mate.
You're not going to be able to.
I thought I heard it wrong.
You're not going to be able to sync this up, Daniel, so don't even try. I'm going to just back up 30 seconds, but he did say, here.
You can
Would
say
be
yes.
an excellent running mate and an excellent vice president. I don't know whether President Biden has named his running mate. We're going to a convention next summer. It's a year away from now, and we're going to go through that process. So.
I mean, you say, I don't know why you can say the answer is you could say yes. You could say yes, I think
Jake
Kamala
missed
Harris
it too.
is the best vice president and the best running mate for President Biden. That's the answer you could be giving right now. Yes, she is.
So I've not seen any public opinion polling. You might be a stronger vice presidential running mate than her or me. Or
I think he's
anybody else.
joking
I don't
here,
know
but
who else? If you're talking about the polling, but I will tell you, as a matter of substance and public policy, she'd be an excellent choice. She and the president have done an excellent job.
I'm only running as a member of the Bull Moose Party, but I appreciate your vote. Democratic.
I mean, at that point, he just had to bail out of it.
Say a joke.
The fact that he's echoing the same sentiments and saying the same stuff, non-answers as Pelosi, just tells you the memo's been sent out. They all know. The question is, though, and I've brought this up in the past, they cannot get rid of Kamala Harris. They can't get because that would be a public admission because she is the face of DEI. I've said it many times on this show. She is the face of diversity, equity, and inclusion politics.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's not the running mate and not the VP, that is a public admission that she and DEI are failures. The strategy does not work. Checking off boxes does not work. And that's when your whole administration is surrounded by box checkers. That's a failure that the strategy didn't work. She's going to be the running mate. She has to be.
Why won't any of these top-ranking Democrats say that, though? What's the issue?
You guys, that's weird.
It is weird. And he said in there, I don't know if he's announced his running mate yet. What are we doing? There's something. You're right. The memo's been sent out, but there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on here.
I'm telling you,
I just don't. I don't understand why they wouldn't say yes. Like, she's absolutely the best choice for VP.
Have we ever had a more uncertain political picture 14, 15 months out for an election in this country? And I'm talking about both sides, too.
Yes.
All the stuff looming with Trump, all the uncertainties
Yep.
with the Biden administration.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir, which is why I'm standing by my prediction.
Yeah.
I just don't – I don't know. It's just there's something weird going on here, and it's not –
It's going to be wild when the election is Nikki Haley versus Gavin Newsom. Didn't see that coming, sir.
Well, maybe it's because Kamala Harris can never get facts straight or do anything correct.
Mm.
She was at Hampton University yesterday, for a Q&A, and talking about DEI. And she seems to be advocating in this clip here for government-forced equal outcomes, which we know is never a good thing. Yeah. Cut 11 here, Daniel.
Supposed so-called extreme leaders are suggesting it's a bad thing to care about and pay attention to inequities, to say DEI is a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
When in fact, if we want fair outcomes, we must understand what are disparities and then accommodate and adjust for those disparities if we want equal outcomes. So environmental justice raises those points, right? Equitable outcomes. Is everyone coming out the same way? Well, if they don't, look, if you don't start on the same base, everybody can have an equal amount. You're still not going to end up on the same base, right? If we want equal outcomes, we need to take into account not everybody starts out on the same base, and we have to make adjustments.
Make adjustments.
Make adjustments, first base, second base, a lot of sports cliches.
I mean, I didn't start out on the same base
No.
that you did, Nick Kayal.
Of
You
course
didn't
not.
start on the same base I did. We didn't start on the same base Don Stensland did.
That's correct.
We all come from different backgrounds. We all
Yes.
come from different upbringings.
Right.
We all
But
come from
they-
different areas.
They want everybody to have the same finished product end result, which is not possible because we all have different skill sets, different traits, different motivational levels. Not everybody's going to make six figures. Not everybody's going to be a CEO. Not everybody gets to go to the NFL. Not everybody's going to get into law school. That's not the way society works. I thought Zioli had a great guest on last Thursday when I was driving to Parks, and they were talking about DEI, and the guest, who I'm drawing a blank on the name now, was talking about how there's a major difference in the two E words. We all want equality.
Yeah.
But equity is not equality, and I'm summarizing. Equity is just a bunch of hogwash, so to speak. We all want everybody to be treated fairly and justly, but we all don't get to where we want to be.
Yep.
That's not the way life works. And people buy, and they buy, and I'm sitting there listening to her. Try processing what she's saying and making sense of it. The people at Hampton University, those kids have got to be totally confused.
Yeah. Yeah. Ipso facto on the YouTube chat says, and that would make sports suck because every game would end at a tie.
Right. I got news for you. The Eagles and the Commanders are not going to finish with the same record.
Yep. Yep. Jalen Hurts, I don't know what his upbringing was. Maybe he didn't have the same upbringing that I did. Maybe his parents weren't as rich as mine. By the way, mine weren't. But his outcome is, boy, he makes a hell of a lot more money than I do. So
a little bit.
I mean, like,
yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's this absurd thing that
sports are the ultimate meritocracy. You get what you earn.
Yep.
And that's the way life is. And that's the way, if you're a capitalist and you believe in meritocracy, you get what you work. Now, sometimes you end up getting screwed and gypped or whatever. I got it. But for the most part, you get out of life what you put into it.
Yeah. Bubba45 says Jalen Hurts grew up in a military family. His father
That's
served.
right, yes. And his dad was also, I think, a football coach. So he kind of had like a drill sergeant father.
By the way, if you're watching right now, youtube.com/@1210WPHD, please hit the like button. We're at 93 likes. I want to get to 100 likes. I'm shooting for the stars. I want to get to 200 likes, all right? So everybody who's watching right now, please, if everybody's watching right now, please hit the like button. We would get to 200 likes.
By the way, Newman Price says, I will definitely volunteer to go ask stupid questions at press conferences on behalf of Kayal and Company.
Newman, you're in, my friend. And by the way, we're about 15 We're about 15 subscribers away from 4,500.
Hey-o.
So please hit the subscribe button. I want to get to 4,500. So we're like 15 subscribers away from 4,500. So hit the subscribe button if you have not done so as well. Also, in this Q&A at Hampton University, she says that government should not be telling people what to do with their bodies.
Oh, interesting.
Cut 12.
What the Supreme Court took away, the United States Congress has the power to put back in place. But that means we need the people in Washington, D.C. to have the courage to understand you can have your personal beliefs, but don't have the government telling people what to do with their body.
Okay. So it's okay to have vaccine mandates. So
you go there.
Yeah, very interesting. The government shouldn't be able to tell you what you do with your own body, but hey, you know what? If you don't roll up that sleeve and take that Pfizer shot, you're fired.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
The hypocrisy is just
it's staggering.
Stunning.
They almost like impale themselves every time they open their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know that they're aware of it. Because most times these lapdog media, and I don't know if there was journalists there to ask any questions, but like that would immediately perk my ears up. Like I would go into Peter Ducey mode right away.
91 LSXer. Hey, where you been, pal? Good to see you again. He says people who grow up under the same roof don't end up in the same finish line, let alone strangers.
That's correct.
It's a good point. You and your sister didn't end up the same place.
She makes way more money than me.
She's way more successful than you are.
Speaking of that, Aaron, I'm going to need another 5 spot. I'll text you later.
Yeah, Aaron, your brother owes me $20, which I haven't received yet. So please give the man a loan. Am I going to get that at some point today?
Monday morning.
No, the bet was for today. No,
I'm going to pay you Monday.
Your sister is your loan shark.
I legitimately.
Oh, this is
I haven't carried.
This is a violation.
I haven't carried cash in 20 years.
It's a violation. I want it today.
My wife never allowed me to carry cash. She didn't trust me with it.
I had it ready on the kitchen table this morning, and I was ready to give it to you.
I've got Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. Are you on any of those?
I want cold hard cash, man. Come on. I made the bet.
Oh, yeah, it's true because the government now will tax you on these PayPal transactions.
No, Anthony pointed out we got paid today, so your account should be flush.
Oh, and I'll be saying this.
Daddy owes you.
All right, speaking of that, man, Joe Biden was in Maryland yesterday. We have a few short clips here. He had trouble with the teleprompter, like he always does.
Teleprompter's undefeated.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite segments we do on Kayal and Company. Biden versus the teleprompter, cut 8.
MAGA Republicans in Congress also trying to undo the progress we made to make getting, look, what Biden was able to do. And
It's
just unbelievable.
MAGA Republicans are also trying to undo the progress we made to make getting, look. That is the transcript.
It's unbelievable.
He also started to randomly scream
Yes.
during his press conference. This has got 10.
We're going to pay somewhere between 20 and 40% less than those other countries. Same exact drug.
Whoa.
Made by the same exact company.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if he's really yelling or somebody's just messing around with his microphone levels. Somebody just jacked up his fader. Could we go back and go back to the last 2 or 3 seconds of the video or freeze it? I mean, he looks like he's in a fit of rage there. His eyes are bulging out of his head.
He does. Let's restart the video, Daniel, here. I'm just going to start it from the beginning.
You're going to pay somewhere between 20 and 40% less than those other countries. Same exact drug. Made by the same exact company.
Yeah.
He sounds like one of...
He looks like a dictator.
He sounds like one of those patients at the old folks' home.
Yeah, well, that's probably where he should be, honestly.
Uh-huh.
By the way, it's Friday, so Joe will be vacationing. He'll be heading up to Delaware this weekend.
Well, it's going to be a lovely weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
The weather's going to be beautiful.
On the beach.
Had a lot of traveling. Vietnam to Alaska.
He's tired.
Joe's earned his weekend.
He's tired. Yeah.
Tired.
He said this, which is also a little... I don't know. You could deem it as a tad racist here. He says African Americans, Hispanic workers, and veterans. The workers without high school diplomas.
Oh, Okay, so
Okay.
black people and Hispanic people
And
do
veterans
do not have diplomas.
Yeah.
All right.
Cut 13.
We not only recovered all the jobs we lost during the pandemic, we've added millions more. We've seen record lows in unemployment, particularly, and I've focused on this my whole career, particularly for African Americans and Hispanic workers and veterans. You know, workers without high school diplomas, the lowest unemployment rate in 70 years for women now.
There we go.
You imagine if Donald Trump said that?
Oh, my God.
CNN would go to a 7-panel breaking news desk. Abby Phillips's head would explode. Van Jones would be falling off his stool.
I mean, he has a history of saying slightly, not slightly, but what some people would deem as racist things.
Well, this is why they don't let him out.
Indians who own 7-Elevens. And what did he say about Obama, Dawn? That he was a clean, well-articulate, clean African-American.
Oh, as opposed to not clean and articulate.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, also, remember that little audio drop that we used to air more, and it was Greg used to air more, and it was when he was a lifeguard in Delaware, he allowed the black kids to feel his
hairy
blonde
legs.
hair, the blonde hair on his legs.
Yeah, you never heard that one?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was creepy.
I had hairy legs, and I used to let the little black children feel my hairy legs.
Yeah,
it was a very odd.
As a man who has hairy legs, I just don't want anybody touching my legs. But then again, I'm not perverted like Joe.
This is a visual, so head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. He appears to get confused as he attempts to leave the stage.
Oh, the stage gets him again, too, huh?
He does this all the time, Daniel. If you can put this up, cut 14 here. He puts it up there. Let's see here. There he is. All right.
Here he goes. He looks right. Do I go this way?
go
Anybody
that
tell
way.
me? How about left? You want me? Cough real quick. I might have COVID. Yeah. Oh, this way. Okay, there we go. Yeah, right.
Can we just put that on a loop? It does look like
Yeah.
It does look like a man at an old folks' home.
That's
Like,
right.
Where are we going? No.
Yeah.
No, Pop. It's time for lunch.
Right.
Come on, this way.
This would be
way.
like me going to Parks with Zioli and getting on stage for the first time and not knowing which way I should go see Mike Baldini because I'm not used to doing it. But this guy's been in politics for 5 decades. He's been in the White House now for 12 of the last 16 years. He still can't figure out right or left.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
I don't know who's got a better track record against Joe, the stage or the teleprompter. He's just pointing like, okay,
this
over
way,
here.
that way, which way?
And then he kind
This
of
way.
accelerates a little. He gets a little giddy up in his step. Like, I gotta get off stage here. We'll grab an ice cream. This guy.
To the right, to the left.
Yeah, exactly. He keeps touting this claim that he taught at the University of Pennsylvania, which is a lie. He was paid $1 million, but he never taught a single class. I mean, that's been documented. But now he goes even further. He says that he used to teach political theory.
Oh, okay.
So now it's an actual class that he taught.
Poly Theory 251. It was in Ag Hall on the 3rd floor.
Cut 15 here.
I taught at the University of Pennsylvania for 4 years, and I used to teach political theory.
It's not true.
No, and you think of all the money that Biden has brought in from Ukraine for influence peddling, lining his pockets. Maybe the biggest theft committed by Joe of all time is the fact that he got $1 million from Penn and never taught a class.
True.
I mean, that's a hell of a contract.
It is.
That's like, Greg, that'd be like you giving me a radio contract for 3 years and paying me whatever, and I never hosted a show. That's what Joe got. He just got $1 million.
He did. Okay, so that's a lie. That's an out and out lie that he just told. CNN's Daniel Dale, who's their fact checker over there.
Yeah, he's the cheaper Stelter.
So it appears now that they're calling out Joe Biden's lies. Does he actually say lie in this? Because the clip I have says he has a pattern at this point of either inventing or embellishing stories about his past. Not lying, inventing or embellishing. I don't know if he uses the L word in this.
CNN is basically piggybacking the Washington Post here now.
This is cut 5, Daniel.
And he has done, I don't know if it's similar things, but he's sort of told some stories that don't line up quite like this before.
Yeah, this president has a pattern at this point of either inventing or embellishing stories about his own past, his biography. He did it 3 times in one speech last month alone. He claimed he had witnessed a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh when he actually showed up about 6 hours later. He claimed that his grandfather had died just days before he was born himself at the same hospital. In fact, his grandpa died more than a year before in a different state, not the same hospital. And he also repeated a favorite false story that I and others have debunked over and over again about a supposed conversation with an Amtrak train conductor he was friends with, who was actually deceased at the time the conversation would have had to take place. And that's not all. There are some more serious ones, in my view. Previously in his presidency, he claimed at one point he'd been arrested during a civil rights protest when, in other versions of the story, he just said an officer had taken him home from a protest. He said he had visited the Pittsburgh synagogue where worshippers were killed in a 2018 mass shooting. In fact, he had actually spoken to the rabbi, but never went. And he's made a whole bunch of others, too. He said at one point, Republicans like to bring this up, he said that he used to drive a tractor trailer, he used to drive an 18-wheeler. Never happened. The White House later clarified he used to drive a school bus at one point as a job briefly. School bus, of course, not an 18-wheeler. So whatever his intentions, whether it's foggy memory about stuff that's going on decades ago or deliberate embellishment, this is an unfortunate pattern that keeps coming up again and again with Joe Biden.
Never uses
I love electric school buses.
Never uses the word lie, though, guys. I want to point. I'm glad they're pointing this out, but never using the word lie.
Right. If Donald Trump says something, it's a lie. Joe embellishes, he exaggerates, he alters his biography. How about the fact that I used to drive an 18-wheeler?
Oh, yeah,
I used to have a Dodge with a 5.7 liter and a Hemi.
That's one of his favorite talking points is that he used to he used to drive an 18-wheeler.
But see, this is like the dangerous combination of he's a pathological liar and a plagiarist, but he's also losing his mind. So you don't know on any given day, other than the fact that he continues to repeat these lies. So that would lead me to tell you that he is lying, and he absolutely knows he's lying, because if somebody would correct him or if he had a mental gaffe, you probably don't make the same mistake repeatedly.
Yeah.
But yet, this is the thing. With Biden, it's all a rerun. Teleprompter, exit the stage, steps, lies. It's just... It's like a TV sitcom that had 5 episodes, and we just keep seeing the same episodes on rerun.
It's not, you can say, oh, it's his age or it's a foggy memory. It's not, because if you remember in 1988 when he ran for president the first time, he plagiarized.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a history.
Well, he stole Hillary's comments.
Yes,
he just played this
week.
He's taken Trump's verbiage. The guy is a total fraud.
Mm-hmm.
He's the epitome of politicians.
Yeah.
When we say they're weasels, they're snakes, they're liars, that's Joe Biden.
Yep. MSNBC's Ari Melber yesterday spent 5 minutes, and I didn't pull the whole 5 minutes, so don't worry. Spent 5 minutes arguing that Taylor Swift could swing the 2024 election.
Wow.
If she gets into politics. Meaning if she... Because she, in 2020, she posted an Instagram video or something.
She endorsed Joe
Biden, Kamala Harris, 2020. She also, there's a stat of her telling her fans to register to vote, and there's a huge upswing in that. So this is Ari Melber arguing that it's not cable news or any of us, Nick Kayal, that are going to swing an election, but Taylor Swift could be that person. He cut 6.
Taylor Swift can actually do some things that earlier generation of artists, however impassioned they were, cannot, because of what I'm about to walk through with you, which is a shifting music and cultural digital environment. Take a look at these numbers. Swift was very targeted. She made a direct push for people to register to vote. And you see right there, skyrocketing among young people. People under 30 registered in the first 24 hours. At the tune of tens of thousands. Now, there are themes that endure here that have nothing to do with Miss Swift or this moment. For example, artists for thousands of years have connected deeply with a broad number of people, including people who consume their work and never meet them personally. That was true even before modern media. And it's especially true when artists represent something that is seen as their authentic priorities, whether that's your favorite singer or favorite writer or any medium. What is different now, and this is going to bring us to the Biden campaign, is actually that the methods are changing rapidly. Artists today actually have more power, autonomy, and reach for their message than the Woodstock era. Now, we've got a little back-of-the-envelope math just to give you an example with the big artists. Taylor Swift's reach, for real, the people who hear from her and the sound of her voice, versus, say, the reach of cable news. Full disclosure, we believe that shows like The Beat on MSNBC can provide something to the public. But if we're talking sheer numbers, let's just be objective and nonpartisan about it. Cable news can reach anywhere from 4 to 10 million people per night over a given monthly stretch. That's an average, and it's just a rough ballpark of multiple channels. Swift,
multiple channels.
Streaming reach is 100 million through Spotify and other platforms.
All right, so we get it. So he's arguing that somebody like Taylor Swift can sway.
He's absolutely correct. I mean, there are a lot of stupid young people out there. No, this goes to, I'm not just saying today's generation. I mean, if you look up to these musicians or athletes as your idols, which I think is a terrible thing to do, you should look up to your parents and other people like that. But I mean, you have these people, and they are influencers. You say Taylor Swift. Who doesn't know who Taylor Swift is? If Taylor Swift says, "Hey, Swifties, welcome to my Instagram live today. In 2024, I'm going to be voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I encourage you to do the same thing." You don't think that has some sort of an impact on some of these 19, 20, 22-year-old girls that they can't get enough of Taylor Swift? Yep. I mean, I know technically she probably plays to a younger demo, but they're not eligible to vote. But, yeah, the impact is real. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So is that a concern? Because we know which way she votes. So, like, is that a concern for?
I think the biggest concern for the GOP and for Republicans is not taking advantage of some of the things that the Democrats do really well. And I think one of them is, and I hate this app, and you know I do. I've said I want it banned. TikTok. I was actually reading an article that was making the case that nobody uses TikTok more than Gen Z. And if Republicans don't get into the TikTok business, it's going to come back to bite them in the you-know-what.
Yeah.
As sad as that may seem.
No, it's reality.
It's the reality we live in. You can like it, you can admit it, you can deny it, but that's the facts.
Yeah.
TikTok. God.
So would the Biden administration be smart to get Taylor Swift involved?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Dawn?
We know Hollywood in general leans left heavily, so it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, I would think.
So what do they invite her to the White House?
Well, no.
All she has to do is get on her app and post a video and reach 100 million people.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say it begins with inviting her to the White House. Invite her, invite her for an event or what have you,
or have her perform.
Maybe
at an event with the rainbow event or whatever they want to do.
Maybe Travis Kelce can help her get involved in that now that they're dating.
It's funny you say that. I was texting with a few guys down the hall, and we were kind of going back and forth on sports and politics. There's the belief. Now, I don't know this to be true. This is just what I've heard. That Travis Kelce is very liberal. Mm-hmm. Jason Kelce, not so much.
Really? That makes sense.
Just what I'm hearing.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Which I can see that.
Donald Trump did an interview with Megyn Kelly for her podcast. Everybody has a podcast.
Yes, they do.
Making some claims on COVID. I want to play this one. Trump says that he never got the credit that he deserved for COVID. I want to hear what you guys think of this claim. This is cut 3, Daniel.
But I have people on the other side, not my side, although probably there's some on my side too. They said, you saved 100 million people because I got it done in 9 months as opposed to 5 years to 12 years. A lot of people...
You're proud of it.
No, I'm not proud of it. I'm saying what Democrats think. Democrats...
I get it. I mean, and I'm not somebody who denies some of the good that the vaccines did. I lived through that too. But of course, a lot of people have been vaccine injured. And that's one of the questions. Those people are mad that they were rushed through and that they can't sue.
Well, I never gave mandates, and people have to make up their own, make their own decision. As far as I'm concerned, now some places had mandates, very strong mandates. largely Democrat governors and probably some Republicans, et cetera, et cetera. But there are Democrats that say, why aren't you talking about that? It's one of the, they really believe strongly. One said, you say, and this is very smart people, they said, you saved 100 million people worldwide. In 1917, you know, it could have been as much as 100 million. It ended the First World War because all the soldiers were dying of this horrible disease of 1917. You know, it actually ended the First World War. The soldiers were dying. They was on the lines, they're fighting, and they're dying of this horrible disease. They said, you might have saved 100 million people, 50 million people. Why aren't you talking about it? I said, I'm not talking about it. But what I did do is I got something done for that specific thing. I also got Regeneron, and I got a lot of therapeutics done, which were great. I also got the robes and the leather and the rubber and all of the different things, the ventilators. We did a tremendous job, and it's never, you know, they appreciated what I did with the economy. I got a lot of good marks on economy. I got a lot of good marks on a lot of things. Rebuilding the military, getting rid of ISIS, the biggest tax cuts in history.
Supreme Court.
I never got, I think, the credit that I deserve on COVID.
So two things, and I've been consistent with this. Number one, I always felt like he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't when it came to COVID. He couldn't win in 2020 because, well, he's rushing the vaccine, and then he's not taking it seriously. Oh, he said it'll be gone in Easter. This thing's not a big deal. And then the second thing I've been consistent with, and this is in the Trump element here, but when him and DeSantis keep going back and forth on who was more tough on COVID and who was more free and who had less mandates, it's a losing battle. If those two, and I know he's asked the question there by Megyn Kelly, so he has to answer it, but if we're going to keep relitigating 2020 and 2021 when it comes to the pandemic within the GOP's top two political contenders, I think you're dropping the ball on what matters most moving forward.
Do you think it's smart for him to run on this?
I mean, if you're going to run on the element of did red states and red municipalities do better than blue? Yes, because we know, and I lived through it having lived in Tennessee, things were far more open and far more free, and we were not dealing with the same draconian measures and these stripping of your rights as people that were still living up here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You have to position it as how Republicans and red politicians and states handled it versus blue. If you're going to go Trump versus DeSantis, or I got enough credit or not enough credit, I don't know that really resonates moving forward. That might create bickering on social media between camps, but I don't think it's good for us moving forward as a party.
The subject of Anthony Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci, came up, and then she presses him on him making Fauci a star. And giving him the presidential commendation. He also says that he doesn't know who gave the president commendation to Anthony Fauci, which is, I mean, he was president, right?
Right.
All right. This is cut 2.
Fire Anthony Fauci was because he'd been there for a long time, that you would have taken heat, that it would have created a firestorm, quoting your words. Then for the first time in May...
I also said I didn't listen to him too much.
I'm getting there. But then in May, you started saying, well, he's a civil servant, so I couldn't technically. The truth is, though, not only did you not fire Fauci, who is loathed by many, millions of Republicans in particular, but also some Democrats.
By the way...
You made him a star. You made him a star. This is the criticism of you, that you made him the face of the White House coronavirus task
You think so?
force, that he was out at every presser, that he was running herd for the administration on COVID, and that you actually gave him a presidential commendation before you left office. Wouldn't you like a do-over on that?
I don't know who gave him the commendation. I really don't know who gave him the commendation.
Presidential commendation. One went out to Mark
Somebody
Miller, too.
probably...
Okay, so there's a few things here. One, with the whole concept of fire Fauci, civil servant, can't fire him. So like when DeSantis keeps saying, I would have fired him on day. No, you wouldn't, because you can't. And number two, remember, there was stretches where Trump kind of benched Fauci. We didn't see it from him, and we didn't hear from him for a while.
We heard from Deborah
Birx and her scarfs. Yep. Scarfs. And lastly, I would say Trump didn't make him a star. The media made him a star. CNN made him a star. MSNBC made Fauci a
remember
star.
when Saturday Night Live,
Yes.
Brad Pitt, Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Fauci.
There was a stretch where I swear to God, I thought Fauci was buying time on these channels. Like he was plastered on television for 18 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
And there was points where he was like losing his voice and it was hoarse because he was talking all day long.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump made him a star.
Well, also the claim that he doesn't know who gave him the presidential commendation.
Well,
Come on.
I got to imagine you have to have some idea who did,
maybe
or
they
some
didn't,
input.
Maybe he didn't realize he signed off on it, but
right. It's got your name on it.
Ron DeSantis did an interview with Steve Deese, I guess is the guy's name, and he responded to the Megyn Kelly interview and because he went on in that too to trash DeSantis, obviously. So DeSantis responds to that. This is cut 7.
I'm sure you saw the former president's interview with Megyn Kelly last night, trying to relitigate a lot of these COVID issues and controversies from the end of his president.
By the way, I'm stopping this right here. This guy's a talk show host. Look at him.
Well, everybody's got a podcast or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
Steve Deese. I'm gonna guess our audience is larger. Just a hunch.
Oh my God. Again.
Yeah.
He looks like he's Anyway, we continue.
And see, you were accused of having one of the worst lockdowns in the country, vaccine mandates, praising Fauci for months on end. I want to give you a chance to respond to all of that because all that stuff was mentioned by the former president in that interview.
Well, first, I think it's important to say that is different from what Donald Trump used to say. I mean, he used to praise Florida for having been open. He used to say I was one of the country's great governors. He said we handled COVID correctly and brilliantly. So he used to say that. He was on record always saying that. Now, because I'm a threat to him, that's when he's now changing his tune. But some of the things he's saying are just bold-faced lies. We never mandated mRNA COVID shots. In fact, I called a special session of the Florida legislature to prevent any mandates in the state, and not just by the state government or local government. We provided protections for employees at private businesses, which a lot of establishment Republicans basically were saying businesses should be able to do whatever they want.
Kristi Noem said that.
Their employees
Kristi Noem told her own constituents in July of 2021 that if you don't want to work for a company with a vaccine mandate, just go get another job. She said that publicly.
All right, talk show host, stop interrupting.
Mustard.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong, guys.
No, he's not wrong.
Trump did praise DeSantis and say what an exemplary job Florida was doing.
My criticisms of DeSantis have been on the presidential level and his failures so far in his campaign. From a gubernatorial standpoint, he's probably the best governor in the country. And you can look at a lot of these red states that handled it much better. And DeSantis and Abbott and guys like that, they were kind of leading the way. Did they have some shutdowns? Was there a stretch where they had? Yes, but I would imagine that was all relatively very early on. So, although I would say to DeSantis now, I don't think you're really a threat to Trump as he claimed he is. 7 months ago, he might have been a threat to Trump, but not right now.
Ralph writes, Steve Deese is on the Blaze and has an audience almost as big as Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, does he? I've never heard of Steve Deese.
Is that what he says? Okay.
Yeah. Well, if he's on the
As
Blaze.
somebody who carried Rush Limbaugh on this radio station, there's zero chance he has almost as big of an audience as Rush Limbaugh did. Okay, but thank you.
Never heard of the guy, to be honest.
I just people with their facts.
Well, I would say this. A lot of conservatives know who Steve is, but Rush Limbaugh was somebody in the mainstream.
I was just commenting on the man's looks.
Right.
That's all I was doing. I was being very superficial. Very superficial.
Kind of petty on a Friday.
Very petty by me.
Gotta be honest.
In the interview with Megyn Kelly, he also said that he does not believe Joe Biden is too old to run. He says he's incompetent. Cut 16.
Now that Joe Biden's in the office, there was just a poll out. 77% of Americans say that Joe Biden at age 80 is too old to be president. Are they right?
No, not for the reason of old, because I have many friends that are in their 80s. I have friends, Bernie Marcus, that are in their 90s, and they're sharp as a tack. I would say just about what they used to be. No, not old. He's incompetent. Age is interesting because some people are very sharp and some people do lose it, but you lose it at 40 and 50 also. No, he's not too old at all. He's grossly incompetent. You look
about
at some
him,
of the
not
great.
his age.
You look at some of the great world leaders. They were in their 80s, and they did. I mean, Churchill. So many people. They were phenomenal in their 80s. You know, there's a great wisdom if you're not in a position like him. But if you go back 25 years, he wasn't the sharpest tack either.
He's been incompetent since he was 45, Donald Trump says, which is true. Like, the reality is not all 81-year-olds are created equally. Some people are 70, they lose their faculties. Some people, Dawn, your father, 87, 88?
88, yeah.
Still vary with it.
Yep.
So we don't think there should be age limits. It's just if we like the person who's 81, then they can run.
Well, you're gonna have to have a limit.
I would say term limits are what the number we should be talking about, not age limits.
Well, we already have term limits for presidents. It's 2 terms, 8 years. But I mean,
for most career politicians,
right, like Congress,
right? And
correct.
And by the way, Joe Biden. You know, what did I say the other day? His first, venture. Maybe we should do term limits as far as if you started out as an elected official in the 70s, maybe we term limit how long that you can make a career out of this, because I don't think that's right.
No, I agree. The fact that the Pelosi's and the Feinsteins of the world can stick around as long as they are and as long as they have. And then, by the way, too, it's not just the age and it's not just the career. It's just the amount of corruption. I mean, you walk into politics and let's say you're in Congress and you're your first opportunity and you're making $120,000. And then all of a sudden, by the time you're 75, 80 years old, you're worth $113 million on a government salary, which those salaries are very good. You know, a lot of people will be happy to make what Pelosi's making, $184,000 a year or whatever. But you don't get to a net worth of $113 million unless you're on the inside of some transactions.
Some instant feedback here in Exile in Jersey says, and so the pressure on Tay-Tay, meaning Taylor Swift, to get involved in politics. If she doesn't, will they attempt to cancel her? That's a great question.
I didn't know they called her Tay-Tay.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, come on. You got to get with it.
Yeah.
Richard Notaro says the legacy media is now calling out Joe Biden lies. Why? What changed? He's been lying his entire political career. The reason for the change is because the Democrats and their lackeys, the media, fear he is going to lose to Donald Trump.
That's what I said this morning.
Yep.
They now legitimately believe that he actually could lose to Trump.
Yep. Colleen writes, what infuriates me over CNN being willing to call out Biden's embellishments, in quotation marks, now is that they should have been doing it in 2020. Media all have their orders so they can talk about it now. They know Biden won't be the nominee.
Yep. The Dems have green-lighted it for the main networks to squash him.
Exactly. All right, that's what I got. You want to?
Yeah.
Take a break?
Yeah.
You want to take a break? Yeah. We'll take a break. Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves, people.
Or
just keep messaging each other in the chat. We'll be right back.
Will we?
Yes.
Okay.
Back after this on Kayal and Company.
I'm Ed Bonner, and this is my wife, Lynn, and we have been members of Crash Proof Retirement since 2014. My goals for retirement were to do what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted, where I wanted, not have to worry about money. And inflation, supply chain issues, chaos throughout the world, of all those issues that are going on around us, my nest egg is one issue I don't have to worry about.
Crash Proof has provided me with a level of security. We have not lost any money. The value of earning interest with the Crash Proof retirement system, it goes directly into our individual accounts, and I know that I can't lose anything.
Tomorrow is 2 cups of coffee and a day of relaxation, not having to worry about my savings.
You're invited to reserve your seat at the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event at Springfield Country Club on October 24th. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Eagles are 2-0 after a 34-28 win against the Vikings in Thursday's home opener. Hunter Biden has been indicted on federal firearms charges after a plea deal fell apart. The CDC is warning COVID, RSV, and influenza could strain the healthcare system this cold and flu season.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
This Merrill Reese update is brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day.
It was closer than it should have been, but the Eagles survived. They beat the Minnesota Vikings at the Link 34-28. DeAndre Swift was pure magic. He was amazing with 25 carries for 170 yards and a touchdown. The Eagles at one point led 27-7, but the Vikings fought back. Still, the Eagles notch another win as they go 2-0. With the Eagles, this is Merrill Reese.
The 2-minute warning, the caution flag, the 4. PNC Bank believes in the power of a helpful watch out. That's why they created low cash mode, the new financial watch out that gives you multiple options and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid overdraft fees. Low cash mode and virtual wallet from PNC Bank. Available in all virtual wallet products. To learn more, visit pnc.com/low cash mode. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
So I have to admit, I was supposed to bring some of the my homemade famous chili.
Yeah, you were.
Nick and Greg, Anthony, Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's my famous homemade chili, but it's really from my friends at What a Crock. Here's what happened on David's birthday because everybody ate it all because it's so delicious. So I promise I'll bring another batch. Monday.
Just remember, we keep receipts.
So, here's the thing. I discovered What a Crock meals in a local, they used to be in a local market. They're local. And these are truly homemade. If I brought it to your house or I bring it to work and I didn't tell you that I didn't make it homemade, you would not know the difference. Because all the high quality, good, nutritious, fresh ingredients that I would use and spend a whole lot of time preparing, that's why I love What a Crock meals, because that's what they use. Exactly what Mom would use, what I would use. So here's the thing. They deliver nutritious, ready-made meals. You don't have to do a thing, okay? They're ready-made meals. They deliver them to your doorstep, and I just put it in my slow cooker. No prep, no mess. And then when our family comes home after work and school, the kids are saying, my husband's saying, oh, what smells so good? Because that delicious What a Crock meal is simmering in my slow cooker. And we get to enjoy more time together at the dinner table. So use promo code WPHT, and for you get $10 off your first order. These are ready-to-eat meals. You don't have to do a thing. What a Crock meals, and you just go to whatacrock.com for homemade meals. They're delicious. They're homemade, but just not homemade by me. Order now, whatacrock.com, or you can go to whatacrockmeals.com. But it's whatacrock.com, and make sure you always tell them Dawn sent you. WPHT is the code for $10 off your order. I promise, guys, I will bring you a homemade whatacrock.com meal. I do promise.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Speech. This year, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, I didn't have dinner last night
I'm
or
sorry.
breakfast. Thanks, Dawn.
I mean, or they have Swedish meatballs.
Now just get some Swedish fish from the vending machine down the hallway. It's fine.
There's a beef, just like an old-fashioned pot roast. Now that soccer's eating beef again.
Yeah.
By the way, my vegan friend, who both of you know,
And he would love this. The bean chili.
When I made the admission yesterday, guys, that I was eating meat again,
He unfollowed you on Facebook?
He calls me and he goes, "You're a traitor." I said, "Yeah, I know."
He canceled you.
I know. I said, because I made the announcement at like 9:30 yesterday.
Right.
So I was like, look, you have a real job. I thought you were working at that point. I didn't know you were listening.
Yeah.
He's like, I am always listening.
Yep.
That's a boy.
Stalker made this whole presentation that he's back in the meat game, this whole announcement, a lot like the left does when they test positive for COVID. I've tested positive for COVID, mild symptoms. I'm actually eating red meat again. Mild symptoms. Bowel movements are a little different.
I didn't say red meat, guys. I just said I was eating meat again.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So what does that entail?
Chicken
yeah,
or turkey?
Yeah, I mean some chicken and turkey.
Okay.
All right. Hey,
So not beef or pigs.
Baby steps. Baby
Okay.
steps. You grab a nice double cheeseburger later today.
Okay.
And work your way up there. You got to build the stomach back up for it.
Look, it's difficult when I've tried to do it, I really have. And so it's difficult when you were raised, right, on meat or chicken, right? It's really hard to do a vegan diet. It is. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
It's because you don't know how to cook vegan.
Right.
And that's part of the problem.
Transitions are difficult.
I've heard that.
As we've seen on TikTok.
Which is why, seriously, What a Crock, they have a lot of vegan dishes. So
Mhm.
if you're trying to do that thing, trying to be healthier.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, what was it, the white bean chili you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
And just the right amount of, I know I'm making everybody's, because we're always starving.
Today's the kind of day to make it, too. Like when it's 50, 60
Yeah.
degrees out.
It's gonna be chilly
78
weather.
later.
Well, yeah, but like you get to October and it's like 60 degrees. Windows open. it's chilly.
Everybody's rushing fall. I like fall as much as the next person, but it's still we're not out of summer.
Oh,
yet,
yeah,
so
trust me.
stop wishing
I know.
summer away.
I
It's
love
80
summer.
by Sunday.
Thank you.
Yes.
You love what, Nick?
I love summer. I trust me, I'm not rushing to get to cold weather. I think I have like seasonal depression. When it's dark at 4:47 p.m.,
It's awful.
I want to blow my head off.
Oh boy.
Well,
Don't do that,
stop.
please.
Don't even. To your point, though, that's just it. It's that it's not even for me the temperature necessarily, because I'll go out in all weather. It's that it, like you're saying,
Yeah.
it gets dark so early.
Right. Like I can't, and in the fall, okay, it's still like football season, holidays are coming up, different events and stuff. So I manage it. But by the time February comes and it's dark at 5:05 p.m. and there's nothing going on in society, like I said, I'd like to eliminate the month of February completely. Can we just go from January to the spring? But I never get what I want. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Apparently, Dove, the soap company, is having a Bud Light moment.
Oh no.
Yes, and this one is very different. This does not involve Dylan Mulvaney and transgender community. This involves BLM activists. So we'll get to that coming up, but right now it's 8:45. Let's get to Dawn Stenzel's Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
And Big 3 at 8, sponsored by the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks, PARX Racing. So we have so much going on this morning. Number one, let's talk about this fire, the devastating fire in Chester County, once again in the news this morning, not because a killer on the loose, as has been making international news, but this is the Chester County Office of Emergency Management. Right now, they are moving all of these displaced residents from that huge fire in Oxford, Pennsylvania, and they're moving them this morning to hotels. So more than 90 people displaced by this fire that actually started late Wednesday night, continued through the day yesterday, and now this morning, and they've been trying to deal with this, trying to help the people there. But this is a horrific fire in Chester County, fast-moving fire that moved through. So, 90 to 100 people we're hearing displaced by this. Red Cross volunteers.
Man.
So I know.
Been a rough stretch for Chester County
Right?
lately.
It's just horrible.
In the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also have, I was going to do the Dove story, but now I'll save that for later because Nick's going to talk about it. We have TikTok. Nick Kayal talks about TikTok all the time, especially as a dad of girls who are I think part of the target, let's say, demographic. TikTok now debuting a new program. This is the TikTok Shop. So you're now it's available. A lot of business angles to this.
The TikTok Shop.
A TikTok actual shop.
Can you get Kayal and Company merchandise at the TikTok Shop?
Oh.
Have we partnered with TikTok?
So I guess You could.
Okay.
The new cup. If you can see us on YouTube, here it is. It's very lovely.
Get your
It's
Folgers
actually
in there,
heavy.
baby.
It's a heavy cup.
It is a heavy cup.
But
and it's the bigger ones too.
It is,
Like,
yeah, the bigger ones.
Yeah,
It's like
big and heavy, baby.
What is it? 5 to 6 inches rather than the 3-inch.
I think it's a
smaller
15.
cup.
It's a 15 ouncer too.
Yeah, it's
According to-
nice.
So that's what Sid said.
I love it. And Sid got one.
Right.
Back to the TikTok
Well,
shop.
Sid would get Kale
What?
Sid would get Kale and Company underwear if we sold them.
Sid, that's why we love you.
It's the 5 to 6 inch rather than the 3 inch.
Right.
Yeah, cup.
Yeah.
So TikTok Shop, social media giant, has been teasing this program for months and trying to build up some excitement to it, but right off of the app. And so now this is a whole new deal where where you can buy your favorite items on TikTok and you can shop on the videos, and they have a live streaming portion where you're now shopping and live streaming and looking, and there are all these different feeds across the country. So it gives brands, the merchants, the creators, the tools to sell directly through the shoppable content on TikTok.
Exactly what we need in this country.
I got to tell you guys, malls have changed a lot, and I don't frequent them, but my son is at that age now. They had the Paw Patrol characters at the Willow Grove Mall last weekend, so we went there and got him new shoes and everything. And it was like a completely different experience. Like there's a DJ that plays music.
Really?
And it's like all the stores are different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're making it almost like a club like atmosphere.
Like
and
an entertainment destination.
There were a ton of kids there.
Yeah.
So
I refuse to go to malls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And this story that Dawn's saying about TikTok makes it seem like they're just trying to revamp the mall experience.
Yeah. Well, it's, let's face it, with the convenience of Amazon and how you can shop and get everything sent to your doorstep in 12 hours.
Why would you go?
Why would you ever leave your house?
Exactly.
That's what we've done. We've created a society where in many ways you never have to leave home again.
I love it.
Which is great for guys like Stalker who hate going out in society.
But think about it. Stalker, who doesn't like to go out, will go to a mall if there's some kind of a live interaction for his child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you're right that malls have to offer a different experience.
Yeah.
TikTok is now even competing with that because it'll be live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like live theater that's coming to the local malls because they're saying, hey, your child can reach out and meet your favorite Paw Patrol character.
Yeah. And a lot of companies have pulled out of malls, obviously, because people shop virtually. But think about how difficult it is for the people that used to own a business in the mall that were not a corporation, that were, a small business, so to speak. Have you ever seen what rent costs at a mall?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you, it is astronomical.
Yep.
And so number 3 on the big 3, I will just say that you talked about Taylor Swift. You also talked about the lesser Kelsey brother.
I mean, he has more Super Bowl rings.
He does.
But he's, in our eyes as Eagles fans, he's the lesser brother.
He's the more famous one. He's the better looking one.
Better looking one. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I think Jason is much more handsome.
Yes. And Jason's going to he's got a shot maybe to get to the Hall of Fame. He's certainly an all-pro. You ever notice in Philadelphia sports when there's brothers, we always get the, quote, lesser of the brothers?
No, we don't. I disagree.
We had the wrong Giambi with the Phillies. We always have the wrong one.
We don't have nothing. I disagree. I think Jason Kelsey is the better brother and the better man. I think he's a higher quality character man.
Well, I'll put it this
I
way.
think we got the right
I'll
brother.
put it this way. One is dating Taylor Swift, and the other is shotgunning beers with $12 an hour producers in radio. Now, you tell me who's living the better life. That's a nonpartisan objection, or observation, I should say. Anyway.
I love Jason Kelsey.
Well, so do I. I love
By
the
the
guy,
way,
too.
given his time to speaking of bartending down the shore for raising a ton of money, hundreds of $1,000s for autism.
Great work.
So, better brother.
In another, if we weren't pressed for time and this was another station, I would say Jason Kelsey, the most beloved Philadelphia athlete.
In the city today?
No, I don't mean in the city. Yeah, definitely in the city today.
Yeah.
I mean in the last 25 years.
I would say since Allen Iverson.
You think Allen Iverson was more beloved than Jason Kelce?
I think there's very few people that did not like Iverson. And those
True,
that did
but-
were nitpicking.
True, but you love a different kind of love.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce, yeah, you love him for his game day performance, but you love him for the high quality character, man, husband, dad that he is.
Mm-hmm. Plus, there's the difference, too. He's just the jolly, lovable fat guy, right? Like, he's just got that warm, like, oh, look at Jason Kelly with the belly hanging out, the scruffy beard. Yeah, he looks like the guy from, he looks like Oliver Anthony a little bit.
He looks like every dad.
He does.
He does.
He's the everyman. And that resonates with Philadelphians.
So we're talking about Travis Kelce and the Taylor Swift dating rumors. So
Dawkins.
after
B-Doc is what Anthony said.
Great point. Yeah.
True, yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
yeah, when
he's not, but he's not more beloved than Kelce. I think in my lifetime, in the city of Philadelphia, there's never been a more beloved star athlete in this city than Jason Kelce.
And it helps that he's got at least one ring. Because when you get the championship in this city, you get the key to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll take more of those calls. At 888, McNabb's going to join us.
I told you if it was a different. Look, it's Friday. I don't care.
Yeah, you're messing with the metrics. Now the analytics are going to be off. We're losing. Would you stop?
But last night, after our big Eagles, we won 34-28 over the Vikings. And on Thursday Night Football, Tony Gonzalez was trying to get out of like Jason Kelce, asking him about his brother's dating life.
Of course.
So it was kind of a fun little. So I'll throw that into the big three. Jason Kelce, we love you. You're the better brother and the better man and the better husband. Bet Parks, Pennsylvania, Derby at Parks Racing. You are our sponsor, and we thank you for that. It's Pennsylvania's biggest day of thoroughbred racing, the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing, Saturday, September 23rd. Gates open 10 o'clock in the morning, free family fun, live music. It's just a great day. Visit PennHorseRacing.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So Parks Racing, thank you for being our sponsor of our big three.
Somebody on the Jethro on no, it's not Jethro. Who is it? Somebody on the YouTube chat. Yeah, it was Jethro. It says Nick Foles.
Oh,
yeah, you're right.
Point. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I'll have to rank them over the weekend. I'll do a big take on lovable sports figures in Philly. We'll do that for a Monday big take.
I cannot think of another. I can't think of anybody who beats Jason Kelce, honestly.
The top three for the I would say Foles, Dawkins, and Kelce. Top three. Iverson. Nobody really on the Philly. Well, I take that back. Chase Utley.
Chase Utley
could do
Mike
no
Schmidt,
wrong.
Richie Ashburn.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go.
Yeah. If you're going to go
All
back
out.
into the 70s, but
I mean,
modern era.
I mean,
Wilt,
Mike Schmidt.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Mike Schmidt with the crying though. With him.
Yeah. Chase Utley, man.
No, he was not beloved though, because then he went to the Dodgers.
Well, yeah, but he was washed.
Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, but people still had an
Say.
issue with Jimmy when he didn't hustle.
But B-Doc, I will agree with you about Brian Dawkins.
I'm getting a lot of
my all-time love.
People tweeting, and in the YouTube chat, Kevin says Bernie Perrant. Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah.
Num Chomskull says Eric Lindros.
Yeah, but he was a little soft.
Dr. J.
Sharon says Chase Utley is hot. Well, I mean, yeah.
The ladies loved Utley. Always hustled, was a grinder.
Bubba says Dawn's just naming athletes now.
Yeah. One guy we can all agree on that was not Donovan McNabb.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
It's not hard to succeed in this city.
Kelce, Dawkins, Nick Foles. 3.
Yeah. Kelce, Dawkins, Foles.
And then Iverson 4.
Yeah.
What about Joe Frazier?
Well,
yeah.
He's the Lehigh Valley, though, right? So that's not really Philadelphia.
What about, just trying to think of others. What about Charles Barkley?
Yeah, but wasn't here long enough.
Yeah.
Okay, wasn't long enough.
7-8 years, and then he went to Phoenix.
Yeah.
What about, I'm trying to think of all the sports memorabilia stuff in my house and the bobbleheads.
Yeah.
What about Bobby Clark?
By the way, for all the people saying, oh, you guys are talking about sports, right now in Morning Drive, we're the second highest rated sports show in the city.
How about that?
So stop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Go on.
and apparently there's 3 of them in this town.
Apparently.
At least they used to be that way.
Not much longer, though.
Not much longer. All right, there you go. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in. So there is now the boycott against Dove soap because they went Bud Light. We will give you those details on the other side. But as you know, I've recently leased a 2023 Ridgeline from Piazza Honda of Springfield. And it was great all spring, all summer, and certainly for the fall. And as much as I hate the winter, the one thing I'm looking forward to is the first stretch of bad weather. And I want to drive that bad boy right through it. If you're a truck person like me, now is the time to lock in at Piazza Honda in Springfield. If you can't make it to Springfield, that's okay. Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, because they all have 0.9% APR. Or if you're not in the market for a truck, you can look at the Honda Civic, the Accord, the CR-V. The Pilot is their SUV. If I wasn't in the Ridgeline, I would probably be in the Pilot. Saw a few Pilots yesterday, and I got to tell you, they are gorgeous. The new shape, the new design. The Piazza Auto Group, 17 brands, 35 locations. So if you're not into Honda, there's 16 other brands, okay? And if you're not in the Philadelphia, Springfield, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading area, well, guess what? There's like 31 other locations. It is your go-to for all things automotive, online, piazzaautogroup.com.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight ILD.
Halloween Nights at Eastern State Penitentiary is now open, select evenings through November 11th. What's going on? It's Bennett. This Halloween festival of epic proportions features 5 thrilling haunted houses, plus historic tours, themed bars, delectable food, live entertainment, and more, all inside the 10-acre abandoned complex of Eastern State Penitentiary. Bigger and better for 2023. This year you'll encounter even more sinister scares and enchanting entertainment around every shadowy corner. Buying your tickets online is always the cheapest option at HalloweenNights.org.
Having trouble sleeping? We can help. This is Dr. Mary Ann Ritchie, your radio doctor. Tune into our show on sleep medicine this Saturday afternoon at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT following Penn State football.
The Dudette Dental Group is excited to begin their 3rd season as the official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles. You can trust the team at Dudette Dental Group to provide the most advanced and compassionate care. From Lehigh Valley to Center City, Dudette has a location near you that takes all major insurances. If it's time for your routine cleaning or you're considering dental implants or something in between, make the Dudette Dental Group your pick. Smile like the birds. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
Hey, you got to join me and join the Bet Parks Sportsbook app. Make sure you've got it and you're in the zone. The official sportsbook app for the real Philly sports fan. Odds, bets, slots, games, all right in your own pocket. And nobody does live in-game betting better than Bet Parks. Bet on the action as it's happening. So download the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers, you make a winning $10 bet, get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. It must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. So college football Saturday, tomorrow, Penn State on the road in Illinois. And what about Monday? Monday night, early line has Cleveland favored as they're going to travel to Pittsburgh. Cleveland now a 2-point favorite at Pittsburgh, and the over-under on that one, 39 points. The Bet Parks Sportsbook, the only sports betting app, as you all know, that I use myself and that I recommend. It's safe, and it's idiot-proof, if I'm really honest, because if I can use it, you can use it, okay? Live betting, parlays, props, teasers, they really do have it all. You love to play, you love to win, you bet Parks. Must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Shaking it up, 901. Friday morning, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Morning mystery movie clip coming up at 9:20 this morning. One more shot at a $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. Also, we've got What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 coming up. And at 9:50 this morning, last chance this week, but it will continue for the rest of September. We will give you the keyword of the day. And you take that keyword, go to 1210WPHT.com, and enter it for your chance to win a free trip, a free vacation to Walt Disney World. And while you're there, buy some Kayal and Company merchandise at the 1210 WPHT merch store.
We have the mugs right here, if you can see them on
That's
the
correct.
YouTube channel, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Other morning shows down the hall. A little envious, a little jealous of the merch store.
Dawn, they're jealous of ours.
A couple of the music people, they're chatting in the hallway.
Oh, good.
Mumbling under their breath. We don't ever get anything.
We don't get any swag.
Been here for 20 years.
Talk to your brand manager. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. All right, so Oliver Anthony and a cancellation, but not the cancellation you might expect. That's coming up in a couple of minutes. But we got to get to this story, and I didn't see this until yesterday, and apparently it's been going on for a couple of days, so better late than never. But Dove, the soap company, maybe you use Dove body wash as a man or a female, whatever. They make all sorts of products. They partnered with a BLM activist to promote fat liberation. And after she was accused of getting a white student expelled from school, wrongly expelled as well. So the story goes like this. Dove is having a Bud Light moment. The beauty giant has partnered with a Black Lives Matter activist to promote fat liberation after she was accused of wrongfully getting a white student expelled from her university over a, quote, misheard remark. Ziana Bryant is a community organizer and student activist studying at the University of Virginia, and she made the announcement that she was a Dove ambassador on her Instagram page at the end of August as she spoke about her goal of ending the stigma of being overweight. Quote, my belief is that we should be centering the voices and the experiences of the most marginalized people and communities at all times. Bryant, 22, said in a video. We actually have some audio and video of this BLM activist who's promoting fat liberation, who wrongfully got a white student expelled over something that she misheard. Let's take a listen to this because we do have a follow-up that has apparently happened over the last few days. But here is the audio and video of Ziana Bryant.
My belief is that we should be centering the voices and experiences of the most marginalized people and communities at all times. So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me, it looks like centering the voices and the experiences of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat body. It looks like making accessible spaces and having conversations that are aware of the fact that people have different bodies and that they are interacting with space and people and institutions and communities in a different way. Fat liberation looks like fully embracing those differences and having those conversations instead of shying away from them. To learn more about fat liberation and the campaign for size freedom that Dove is supporting, visit dove.com/size freedom. Tap in, join the campaign, support the campaign. This is important and we should all be talking about it.
Okay, I guess if you're Dove, and I don't know how these ambassador things even come about and why they arrive at the conclusion to hire any of these people, you probably don't want to go with a BLM activist because now, once again, and this is, for me, the same thing with, it doesn't matter with the product, Bud Light, Target, Dove, what is the, and we know this is a rhetorical question, social credit scores, CEI, all this other nonsense that we talked about. Larry Fink from BlackRock, the CEO, which now they're kind of abandoning some of that. In what world does it make sense if you're a soap company to go political? Like, you put your products in Walgreens and CVS and Giant and food stores and grocery stores and beauty stores, and your ultimate goal is what? To move product. And it's almost as if, even now as they're kind of pivoting away from these social credit scores, it's like, did nobody at Dove sit there and say, boy, you know what? maybe we should not go down this road because, well, gosh, Jolly, Bud Light still hasn't really recovered. Now, I don't know where Dove ranks in the market share categories of soap products and body washes, but I got to imagine they do pretty well. So they hire this girl who got some girl expelled from school, who is a BLM activist, and now the boycotts are underway. Here's the update to the story. This also in the New York Post. Apparently, Dove has been hit by a growing boycott for hiring the activist, and Elon Musk comes out and speaks up and says, this is completely messed up. But apparently, we've got users sounding off in regards to this. Now, the girl that got expelled from college, apparently her life has been ruined. Her name is Morgan Bettinger, over this fat acceptance ambassador. And Elon Musk posted that this is messed up on his X platform. He posted that in a tweet. And then there are others that are now sounding off and saying that they're done with Dove soap. Bryant, who apparently was one of the activists during the 2020 summer protests, and she has campaigned to get the white student suspended from campus. And Bettinger, the girl that got suspended and kicked off school, the records show that she faced disciplinary actions for her comments, which she fears may hinder her ability to get into law school. So now this girl's going to have, be completely railroaded by this. And, I was just thinking about this, and here's the other angle I wanted to discuss with it, because we played you that clip yesterday of the lady going through what she calls feederism. I think that was the term we used yesterday.
Feederism, yes.
Feederism.
F-E-E-D-E-R-ism.
Right.
Not a foot fetish.
That's correct.
That was
like
another
some
first.
form,
Let's get into this fat liberation stuff here.
Yeah.
Like, you should be absolutely fine. Like, I don't root against anybody. Like, you should, if you're fat and you love it and you want to enjoy it, that's fine. You do you. You live your life. I'm fine with that. But this whole nonsense, and you heard her there when she was bloviating in that Instagram clip about space and all this other stuff. I think at the end of the day, if you try to talk to somebody about fat liberation, like, you can do it in a
obese, and this woman from Dove seemed to be that, in my opinion.
Our feederism person from yesterday. Same
exactly.
category.
We should not celebrate unhealthiness.
Right.
It is unhealthy. You're right. These people do not live a long time. You will not live a long time if you are carrying that much weight. It's not good for anything.
We're so caught up in celebrating the uniqueness and individualism, and under this mantra, like even with like the LGBTQ plus, like celebrate everybody for their differences, which is fine. I say equality does matter. Equity is a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, to your point, like, don't make it out to be a cool thing to be somebody that could possibly die at 52.
That's one of the things that ticked me off so much. Oh, God, I still want to curse on the show. It just, like, the fact that we have to talk like children is just, for a show that caters to adults. Anyway, that's one thing that ticked me off about the COVID thing, is one thing we never talked about, because who was the majority of people that died or had really severe complications?
Elderly or those with comorbidities.
Exactly. And it was the obese. It was the people who were too heavy that had the most trouble with COVID. Nobody in the media talked about it. It's like, oh, just take this vaccine, take this pill, take this, take that. No. How about get some vitamin D and lose some freaking weight?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. I know.
Exercise.
Oh, and then you get hit with the, well, I've done all of that. I've tried the diet pills. I've tried the exercise. I can't. I'm insulin resistant on this, that, the other thing, which, okay. There are some people that have given their 110% best effort, still can't do it, and then have to resort to, lap band surgery or other procedures, which I get. But, we are so afraid of telling people the truth that we put feelings over facts out of fear of offending.
Yep.
And that's the society I just will never live in. Like, and you don't have to be a total jerk about it. Like, but you can kind of let them down gently, so to speak, in the way you approach it. But
people who are overweight know they're overweight. But we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to stigmatize people, or we want to make people think that any size is beautiful. No, any size is not beautiful.
Right.
And I'm not saying that as like I'm not trying to be mean. All I'm trying to say is that if you want to talk about living a long, healthy life, you don't see 80-year-olds who are 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: there are many different things going on here, but I will say, when you go to the beach in Ocean City after the pandemic, okay, in Ocean City, New Jersey, down the shore, and you feel self-conscious no matter what size you are, and you look around and there are people of all different sizes, and you kind of feel like, all right, I can relax. I think there's a piece of it where it's a good thing to just go, hey, don't stop living your life because you've gained a few pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, social media as well as advertisers saying, oh, this person, especially a young person, and I'll say especially young women for whatever reason, like there are no magazines. Macy's does not advertise a guy wearing a pair of shorts where he's 200 pounds overweight. But they do have, and it's weird, right?
It's the body positivity movement,
They
right?
have women who are like 20 and they're 100 pounds overweight.
Right.
And they're advertising that. So I think there's a piece of it where on one hand, I think it's mean and cruel to tell people, well, you shouldn't go out in public and you'll look terrible or you're ugly. That's not the thing we should be doing. So on one hand, don't celebrate poor health. On the other hand, go out, live your life, because guess what? If you're going out and you're walking, you're interacting, you're doing your thing, you're going to be active, you're more prone to be healthy and eat healthier and live healthier.
Well, the other tie-in, too, is the actual culprit sometimes for why, in this day and age, people are overweight. Where was she just giving that video? It was Instagram.
Yep.
Maybe if you didn't spend 7 hours and 42 minutes of screen time a day on social media and you spent an hour and 20 minutes exercising, you wouldn't be in the shape you are. Like social media, remember back in the day when you say, John, you're going to go out and you're going to play in the yard, or you're going to go play football or baseball with you're not going to sit inside all day and play video games.
I got to tell you guys, if you look at pictures, and I'm not even just talking about the 80s and 90s, Nick, when we were growing up, I'm talking about if you go back to the 60s, 70s, you look at pictures of kids and not kids, like people back then.
They weren't fat.
Exactly. It was like it is striking how different those photos are of people in the 60s and 70s, and you see them with their shirts off and they're skinny and all this, to now where you have 4-year-old kids that are struggling with weight issues.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's the diet, it's the crap we put into foods, but it's also the lack of exercise and people doing things.
Wasting your day on social media is like wasting your day playing video games. And think about all the sugary. I just saw this story in the New York Post. I guess the new Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin spice coffee, it's got the equivalent of the amount of sugar as 14 glazed donuts.
Yum.
And it's got as much sugar. I think it was for some reason the number 46 is sticking out. I can't remember what metric that's for, but it was basically the equivalent of like a half of a red Solo cup of sugar.
Yep. Daniel in the YouTube chat says, just look at the pictures from Woodstock. It's a great example.
There's no fat people at Woodstock.
No, you didn't.
Well, what does this all coincide with? And this is why women are a key to every society, women and mothers and girls. what does this coincide with? The women's movement.
Mm-hmm.
So what was different about, let's say, the 50s, 60s, and 70s early on? The women's movement.
Women were home to cook fresh food.
So moms were the nutritionists, the psychiatrists, the home time management expert, and women kept all of that together and kept everybody on the rails, the nutritionist, everything in the family. So at the same time that you had, fast food happen, that was as a result of the women's movement. Because why? Women were told, and I remember my mom saying this because she was a stay-at-home mom, and she would say, "Oh, I'm just a housewife," and I was like, "Mom, you're beautiful and you're wonderful and you're brilliant," But she felt shamed by the media in her lifetime. Some she talked about because she was not a career woman wearing a suit. That's why it angers women who are full-time stay-at-home moms when a woman or anybody says, "Oh, well, so-and-so is a working mom." No. If you are home with one baby or 3 or 4, you don't have a minute. Yeah. You would rather go to a job. Remember when Stocker and Zioli had their babies? They had paternity leave, and people made fun of them. They're like, "Oh no, trust me, dude. I would rather be at work right now." That's awful. Right?
Trey Turner said the same thing a couple of weeks ago. I wish I was at work.
He was like, and he had like 3 days. He was like, "Oh, honey, sorry, they need me. Team needs me. Got to go back to work." So part of all of this, I will say, is you think about why are we trying to destroy the family? Women attack women. Women don't matter. All of this began probably in the 1950s or 60s. So this is the next level and the next layer of, I think, of just an undermining of the family, of women, of tradition, all of that.
Yep.
And I think that in and of itself, it's evil, and it's an evil force that we should be aware of.
All right. 855-839-1210 if you want to climb in. Still ahead, we have a cancellation with Oliver Anthony. We also have our Disney keyword and what's on the cut sheet part 2. But right now, we get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At least you can talk. Who are you?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful.
You're a big guy.
For you.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
Of course.
Think you know what it is? Be called 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
Oh, the great prize today, another $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. Caller 12, 855-839-1210, if you can identify that mystery movie clip. And we're not talking about ripping off and removing a mask for COVID. It's a different kind of mask. 855-839-1210. $50 gift card to the Metro Diner if you can identify that movie clip as we continue Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Change happens fast, and when it does, your small business needs to be ready. With Capitus as a trusted financing partner, you can be ready for anything that comes your way. Be it a sudden bump in customer demand, the need for quick cash to fund unexpected opportunities, or keeping the lights on when there's a sudden downturn in the economy. A simple 5-minute online application with Capitus could put the funds you need in your hands in as little as 24 hours. Go to Capitus.com to explore your financing options. That's KAPITUS.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Drive into fall in a brand new Chevy from Hessert Chevrolet with the best savings on the largest inventory in the Philly area. What's not to fall in love with? Drive the incredible 2024 Chevy Trax 1RS, starting at $287 a month. We've got hundreds in stock, available and ready to drive home today. Online at HessertChevy.com. Find new roads.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
2024 Chevrolet Trax 1RS. 4,000 down, 10,000 miles per year, 10 cents every mile over 39 months. MSRP $23,445. Must qualify for Tier 1 leasing through GM Financial and have a competitive lease in household. Taxes, tags, and other fees not included. Must have a current GM lease in household. Offer expires 9/30/2023. See dealer for details.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433838.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation, or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaris and Mark Cumberland at a special time this Saturday night at 6. Find out everything you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com and listen to Good News in Real Estate this Saturday night at 6.
For all of you who love to cook Italian, here's a mouth-watering message from Cento.
Baked lasagna, manicotti, clam sauce with linguine, chicken parmigiana, and tuna capellini, gnocchi alla rosa sauce, pomodoro frittata, pappardelle, perciatelli, pasta caponata.
How do you give those dishes authentic old world flavor? Authentic Italian cooking begins with Cento. Cento for taste that sings. Cento. Trust your family with our family.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-723-5330. That's 1-800-723-5330. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-723-5330. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
Let's face it, eating healthy can be somewhat unhealthy on your bank account, but not at your local grocery outlet. Here we have hundreds of items we like to call NOSH, natural, organic, specialty, and healthy. Look for the NOSH sign and you'll find amazing deals on gluten-free, all-natural, and all-organic foods. You'll find great deals on plant-based foods as well. Stop by your neighborhood grocery outlet today and get your health and bank account back on the right track.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
Exergen thermometers are the #1 choice of medical professionals at top-ranked hospitals. Accuracy matters. Available at Walmart and Walgreens. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? Mother, do you think they'll like this song?
It's Kayal and Company, 926. Good to have you in here on a Friday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Just about 10 minutes out from What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. Also at 9:50, the keyword. You will take that keyword to 1210WPHT.com. Enter for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. And then, of course, we'll find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show and who won Twitter today. But who won our morning mystery movie clip and the $50 Metro Diner gift card? That appears to be Victor in Philadelphia, and he's on the line with us. Victor, good morning. What movie did we just play for you last segment?
The Dark Knight Rises.
That is correct. Tom Hardy, his birthday, as he played Bane in that movie. Congratulations, Victor. $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. It's all yours.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You got it. There he is, Victor in Philadelphia. The third of the 3 Christian Bale Batman movies, The Dark Knight Rises.
Terrible movie.
Not as good.
Terrible.
Very tough to follow up the Heath Ledger Joker movie.
The Bane character was just like,
yeah.
Even hearing that, just I was like, ugh.
I'd rather hear RFK Jr.
Oh, that's not right. Come on.
Low blow there. Yeah. All right. Speaking of music and hearing things, how about this Oliver Anthony story? And we have played Oliver Anthony's 2 songs on this show. Was it Rich Men North of Richmond and I Want to Go Home. And he's kind of taken the music world by storm. And apparently he's not a capitalist. And he's really not concerned with how much money he makes in his given line of work, because Oliver Anthony cancels a show over ticket prices. And here's the story. Oliver Anthony doesn't want fans paying a lot of money to see him play his music. So this is like the opposite of Taylor Swift. Like, you need to take out like a second loan to go to a Swiftie concert if you've got a wife and 2 daughters, right? Family of 4 Taylor Swift concert probably costs you like $2,500. Oliver Anthony, completely different. So Anthony, which skyrocketed up the top of the charts with the 2 songs I just mentioned, was apparently doing a show, or was planning to do a show, in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is about 3 hours east of Nashville. I've been there myself. Nice little town. And he said, you know what? $100 a ticket? No. Canceled the show. Not going to happen. Not on my watch. He goes and he says the following, quote, "Don't pay $100 for a ticket. That's horse bleep. If we've got to cancel the venue and play somewhere else, we will. I didn't agree to it, and I don't want you to pay it. So please don't. I'm just trying to get the word out now," Anthony told his fans when explaining his frustration with the situation. He further wrote in the caption, quote, "My shows should never cost more than $40. Ideally no more than $25.
Wow.
And he goes on to say, hell, out of the 4 shows we've currently done, 2 of them have been completely free. This will get straightened out tonight. Hold off on buying tickets for now. Now, part of me respects it. The other side of it is like, dude, if you're blowing up, you're number 1 on the charts. You've got all these songs that have been downloaded a bazillion times on Spotify and iTunes. $100 for a top performer, a guy that's really taking off. I think, $100 is not terrible. If you like Oliver Anthony's music, you can come up with $100.
I think that he's doing the right thing. I think that he is. He hasn't proven himself yet. He has 2 songs that are. Yeah, he's huge right now. But like,
say 5. What if he gets 5 years from now? He's as big as whatever, Jason Aldean or somebody in the country genre.
Then
would he be stupid to say $40 a ticket?
Yes.
Okay.
Part of me, the capitalist in me, is like, dude, cash in on your success now, because God knows that people have short attention spans and we forget easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's people watching right now or listening right now that are like, Oliver Anthony, who was he again?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it was it was a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So
Right. Apparently, Anthony later officially canceled the show and wrote on his social media that Cotton Eye Joe has been canceled. Apparently, that was the name of the tour. I am so sorry about all of this. I will do better next time. We are still learning. Very interesting.
Yeah.
This is a unique cat, right? Like, I think, and remember, when his Rich Men North of Richmond song came out, everybody just automatically assumed that he was a conservative. And then he came out and said, this is not about politics. You don't get to lump me in and say I'm part of any political party or whatever. He said, I'm just speaking from the heart. I'm spitting facts, the whole bit. So this is a very interesting guy on many fronts. And I think his music resonates with a lot of people that are just sick of the rich men north of Richmond and everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. But, yeah, he says, you know what, it should be $40. Heck, you know what, honestly, no more than 25.
Yeah, look, he's sticking by his convictions. They also offered him a huge contract, and he said no. So
the same thing I did when Greg offered me my deal. It's like, no, 40,000's too much, Greg. Give me 25. I'll come home. Yeah, I'm coming home for 25 grand, baby.
Yeah.
It's about principle here. Not about making profits. So very interesting stuff with Oliver Anthony. A couple of people weighing in on social media. Not a huge fan of the song, but having heard this story, I am on board with him. That's well done. That is from Anthony on Twitter. So we'll see how all this plays out. And again, you have your cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or your moment in the sun. 2 songs doesn't make you a superstar. But, try telling that to some of the one-hit wonders that are, had one just massive single, and then you never really heard from them again. And some of them are still making monies off of the royalties and the downloads today. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Do we have an update, by the way? Because I'm thinking about 25 minutes from now, it's going to really impact my life. Has 76 westbound opened back up, by the way?
Yes.
So we're in the clear with that now?
Yes. So they did announce that they've reopened it.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Thank
Because
goodness.
that was what, shut down for what, 7 hours?
Yeah. It
Okay.
was crazy this morning for a lot. And it did affect the eastbound mostly just because everybody, it was that gapers, that rubbernecker, what do you call it? The gapers delay. As people were like looking, what's going on? Why is the westbound shut down?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, stop looking, just move.
Right. All right. So there you go. Everybody's smooth sailing here as we get ready for our weekend. All right, final story of the day. I told you this yesterday. I wanted to get to this yesterday, and we were talking about some Gen Z stuff, and I gave you the story when we were talking about our feederism individual that posted that video on TikTok, and we were talking about how the mental health issues with TikTok, and we gave you that story that there are therapists out there that now believe Gen Z goes to TikTok to share their trauma and do it almost like a therapeutic session on TikTok. And I said there was one thing that Gen Z has finally done right that I absolutely agree with and I absolutely love. And that's the story I want to wrap up the week with. And Daniel Valdez actually retweeted this yesterday, so I know he'd love this story. But Gen Z women, and Dawn, hold on over there.
Uh-oh.
Gen Z women are embracing large breasts in latest body positivity trend. We just talked about the story about fat liberation.
Yeah.
Well, a new body positive trend, this is from the New York Post, is taking over social media that aims to make fashion more inclusive. There's that great word again. We had equity earlier today. We'll wrap it up with inclusion. You just can't get away from these corporate buzzwords from the Biden administration. But they are now to make fashion more inclusive for women with big breasts. The fashion industry, as they say in this article, has been notoriously exclusive, and social media has become a massive way for women to push for it to be more representative of everyday women. The last few years have been about seeing more body representation in fashion. There have been loud conversations about brands expanding their size range and the rise of the plus-size influencer. More recently, a rise in the mid-sized influencer. A mid-sized influencer usually wears between sizes 10 to 14, with a growing number of popular social media users fitting that description. However, the latest trend on TikTok is big-breasted women reclaiming their space in fashion. Let me see here. There's one other number I want to give you here. I just saw it. Okay. So women, now I have no idea what these numbers mean, so I'll let Dawn explain it. Women 38D plus comprise 17% of the female population, yet in the fashion industry represent less than 1% of models. I mean, I don't know what any of that means, but apparently Gen Z women are finally embracing this. And as a man who likes breasts, I'm on board with this.
Okay. Before Dawn spits facts, let me just give you my take on this.
Do you know what those numbers mean? Because I don't.
Me? No.
Okay. So you and I are both clueless on this topic.
38D? I don't know.
I mean, I know
it's a cup size.
It's
That's
big.
Yeah,
I understand D's big.
This is because usually
I don't know the 38 though.
Usually the women who have bigger chests are also carrying more weight. So I believe
that sounds a little sexist.
This is no. It's just true. You don't really see a lot of, unless they're porn stars.
Right.
You don't really see a lot of 38Ds on women.
Well, they're usually fake if they are.
And hips that are, you know what I mean,
Right.
like rail thin.
Right.
So I think that the reason Gen Z is embracing this is because this is more body positivity stuff.
Yeah,
Is that sexist
that's the
of me,
whole
Dawn
crux of the
Spencer?
article.
Is that sexist of me?
No, I don't know. On one hand, I think it's just, I like the story because it's recognizing the curves. So for me, what I see, because the pictures they're showing when they do the story are women of all different sizes, but they're showing the curves.
Yeah.
So we had like the big booty movement, you know, that the big booty is a beautiful thing.
Baby got back.
Baby got back. And because there was a time when women and supermodels looked like crack addicts, quite frankly. And some of them we later learned were heroin addicts and all of that. So now what they're saying is, you know, women come in, they're curvy. And a lot of the clothes designed by men didn't allow for the curves.
I mean, I understand that Gen Z embraces the body positivity stuff, but it's usually for women like we've talked about in these other TikTok videos that are probably north of 250 or 300 pounds. I'm a little surprised that Gen Z, and I don't know if it was with the caveat or the exception of women that are just overweight with big chests. I felt like Gen Z, just knowing Gen Z the way I do, that they would be anti-big breasts on the athletically conditioned and fit female. But then again, they don't give you the specifics of what exact. Because let's face it, I mean, not all 38Ds are created equal.
That's right.
Right? Some are real, some are fake. Some are on a lady that's 140 pounds. Some are on a lady that's 280.
I just DuckDuckGo'd average breast size 34 double D.
34.
That's
Really?
the average?
Double D?
Who's doing this?
Who's doing? Yeah, well, I don't see that as the average at all.
Average breast size worldwide, globally. So globally, it's size B.
That's
B
what I
cup.
would think. That's what I was assuming.
But Healthline says the average bra size in the United States, this is saying 34 double D.
That's got to be a typo. 34 double D.
That's Healthline.
Oh, very
Yeah, they're
interesting.
saying, so I don't know. They're kind of all over the place on
All right.
this.
Thought that was interesting. A little surprised. Every now and then Gen Z will throw something at you and you're like, I didn't see that one coming. And that was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, on one hand, I love the fact that they're just recognizing the beauty and all the differences between women's body shapes. And I love that they're recognizing the curves. But on the other hand, you know, because they're showing so many different pictures of different women, I just, and young women in particular, it's not great for you if you're 20 and you're 50 plus pounds overweight, because that affects everything. It affects your fertility.
Yeah.
It affects, you know, just everything in your life, your heart, it's hard on your body. So
by the way, all the
blew up.
Yeah, all the guys on YouTube right now have decided. Daniel started this, obviously.
I agree.
That a C cup is the best size.
Yeah, I just nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
There you go. 91 LSXer wins wins YouTube. He says fake survey. It's like the guy poll where the average size is 9.5 inches.
Yeah, he also said Nick still subscribes to Biggins.
Yeah, and Jugs. Yeah, exactly.
All right, 9:40. It is a Friday morning.
Thank
Let's
God.
get to what's on the cut sheet, part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Yeah, what's on the cut sheet part 2 on this Friday? If you haven't done so yet, head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT, because you're going to want to see these videos. There was a lot of things I pulled last night from the Eagles-Vikings game, but it wasn't any, like, breakdown of plays or anything.
Yeah.
So don't worry. These are just fun things that I observed yesterday from the game. So go to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT if you want to see these videos. So this was Fox 29 right before the game. They held a little pep rally.
Mm-hmm.
And this couple,
oh no,
oh boy,
it gave the we remember EAGLES Eagles, that that chant. They gave that chant. This is cut 18, Daniel.
Let's go Birds! ELGS
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
ELGSSEL Eagles.
What is that?
Let's go Birds! ELGS Eagles!
ELGSELS Eagles.
Somebody had a couple of pops.
ELGS Eagles.
Can you use it in a sentence?
One more time, please.
Let's go Birds! ELGS Eagles!
Yeah.
Elgsgol.
Yes.
Al Michaels, is he getting up there in age?
Yeah, he's like Joe. He's shot.
He was the announcer last night for the game. It was on Amazon Prime, but it was also on regular TV for us here in the local area. He said this coming back from break.
Veteran Stadium in Philadelphia started the third quarter.
Yeah, not Lincoln Financial Field.
Oh my God!
We bring you back to Veteran Stadium.
I mean, look, I get it.
You slip. Yeah,
he's been there.
Freudian slip.
He's been there a long time.
Yeah,
Veteran Stadium.
Al's got to be 77, 78 years old. Yeah. Welcome back, Sixers here at the Spectrum.
Yeah, Don, do you think he's losing it, or are we?
Veteran Stadium in Philadelphia started.
Oh boy!
Al was too worried about the spread of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a big gambler.
Exactly.
I don't know how many years has he been saying Veteran Stadium.
But how long has it not been Veteran Stadium?
20 years.
I mean, like,
what, the link opened in 03, I think.
Yeah, it's not like to that point, it's not like we are, like it's a couple years removed. Like we're 20 plus years from the vet.
Phillies have been at Citizens Bank since 04 or 05.
I just wonder how many people did not even notice that he said that.
Yeah, it slips right by people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're so Veteran State. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Al Michaels.
I love Al Michaels. I always have.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know, buddy. I think it might be time to.
Yeah, he's a legend and he's great. I love him too, but he is getting up there. I was kind of surprised that Amazon hired him. Because you think about your Amazon, you're getting into the NFL business, you're a streaming service, you're digital.
You want to go younger.
You want to go younger, right?
Or do you want to go with that voice that everybody knows?
Well, yeah,
you
you're
know
trying
what I
to make
mean?
a little
He's the
impression.
voice of, he was the voice of Sunday Night Football for a long time, the Monday Night Football. So
he's the voice of the Miracle on Ice in 1980.
By the way, we're 17 likes away from 200.
Oh, boy.
So please, if you're watching right now on YouTube, please hit the like button. I want to get to 200 likes. Can you be the 200th like, please? Dawn made reference to this earlier in the post game. They had Jalen Hurts and Jason Kelce, who we've all agreed is the most beloved Philadelphia athlete in this city that's ever been in the city. There was only one Swift, the Thursday Night Football game post-game show, wanted to talk about with Jason Kelce. This is cut 17.
Jason, you talk about family, and I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she's a big fan of a certain pop star. And you have a family member, a brother, I think. And I've been hearing rumors that there's maybe some stuff. Can you comment
I've
on
seen
this?
these rumors. I cannot comment.
Yeah,
the damn gossip
Can't be
TV.
TMZ, what are we doing? Listen, it's for my daughter, okay?
What are we doing? Ever since catching Kelsey, everybody has been infatuated with Travis's love life. So I don't really know what's going on there. So yeah, I know Trav is having fun, and we'll see what happens with whoever he ends up.
Oh man! Wow!
Look at Kelsey. He's got the fingers. Maybe we could freeze it. We've got. He's got his fingers taped up. Looks like he's got blood and mud on his hands. And by the way, look at the guy next to him. Now the guy next to him. If we can go back to the full set.
Jalen?
No, not to his
I'm
left.
teasing you.
To his left. Now that's Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah.
Retired lineman from the Bengals. But if you just freeze it, we could just isolate that.
There you go.
The video kind of looks like Fetterman.
And
he's wearing a hooded sweatshirt.
He is.
He's got a hoodie on and he's bald.
Oh, the hoodie underneath the sports coat.
Which is a total violation.
What? No.
On a national televised
No,
broadcast,
come
you're wearing a
on.
hoodie?
You're wrong.
What does he think? He's a senator?
No, come on. A hoodie under a sports coat is a good look. Dawn, be the tiebreaker.
I don't like sneakers with a dress suit either.
Yeah, you're wrong on that too.
I know.
Yeah, I don't. Was he chilly? Because at the end,
Yeah, it was in the 50s last night, right?
A little nippy.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's funny. All the guys are in long sleeve shirts. He's in a hoodie with a jacket, and then at the end, you have the woman, the only woman on the stage, a short no sleeve dress.
She's toughing. She's toughing it out, right? Embracing the elements. You got a former lineman wearing a hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that.
Bubba45 says Nick wears sandals to work. He can't comment on fashion.
That's a good point. Yeah. I go for comfort. I get up at 4:15.
By the way, that Kelsey documentary, if you haven't heard it yet, Dawn interviewed the local director or producer of it. It's up on podcast right now. So subscribe to the Dawn Show, Dawn Stensland podcast, and it's up there. You're definitely going to want to hear it. It's a great interview you did.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony Dorenzo. Set it up.
There you go. Is that it for Cut Sheet Part 2?
Yeah, we have to break.
All right, coming up next, final keyword opportunity of the week. Don't worry, we have more keywords for the rest of September. When we come back, we will give you that keyword, and then you go to 1210WPHT.com and try to register for a free trip to Walt Disney World. Back after this.
This is Larry Steinhess of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Your busy life is about to collide with your love of Eagles football. With the free Odyssey app, you can jump back and listen to the moments that matter, even if you missed it live. Hear Marks and Reese break down the offense, or listen to Nick Sirianni's interview with the 94 WIP Morning Show.
Yeah, I've been in a game where we scored a touchdown, and I'm fist pumping with the fans. I don't think I've done that since I played college football.
Stay close to the Eagles wherever you are this season. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, Cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Hey, you got to join me if you haven't already on the BetPark Sportsbook app. You're in the zone, the official sportsbook app for the real Philly sports fan. Odds, bets, slots, games, all right in your own pocket. So, yeah, we love our nights at Parks, P-A-R-X, right? But sometimes you can't make it physically to Parks. Why not just carry it all the time, right in your pocket? Nobody does live in-game betting better than BetParks. Bet on the action as it's happening. It's a lot of fun. Join me. Download the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers, you make that winning $10 bet. You get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. College football tomorrow. Can't wait for that. Penn State on the road. And then Monday night, early line has Cleveland favored as they travel to Pittsburgh. Cleveland now a 2-point favorite at Pittsburgh, and the over-under on that one, 39 points. The BetPark Sportsbook, the only sports betting app I ever have used myself. You know this. So I learned how to use it because, quite frankly, it's so easy to use. So I recommend it. It's safe. It's easy. Live betting, parlays, props, teasers. They really do have it all. You love to play. You love to win. You bet. BetParks. Must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling up Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, Friday morning, as we get set to hand things off to Dawn Stenswood for the Dawn Show. That's coming up in a matter of moments. And also Who on Twitter today. But right now, it is time for another keyword. And the keyword this morning is action. A-C-T-I-O-N, action is your Friday keyword. Take that to 1210WPHT.com and enter it for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. Action, as in Greg Stalker can't get enough action when it comes to placing wagers. And I owe him $20 because I lost.
Dawn, $20 we made a bet yesterday. I still don't have it on my desk.
I know. I didn't bring it in. I have to bring it Monday.
That's just
I'm going to have to hit up the ATM tomorrow when I go grocery shopping.
Anthony Dorenzo told me I'm never going to see that money.
God is my witness. You have my word. $20 will be on your board at 5:54 Monday morning.
I think you have to do slave labor. Work at his pool.
Skim Stalker's pool.
By the way, I mean, we're going to do this all season long. So, like, you better.
We're even now. I got the 20 from you on the Impossible Whopper Challenge.
That's true.
And you got me on week 2, so we're even. We'll have to keep track of that.
We're just swapping back and forth 20s.
Yeah. Nick and Greg are just swapping.
Yeah. You.
Man.
Mustard.
Oh, come on.
All right.
So gross.
What's coming up on the Dawn Show? We're just about 6 minutes out.
We're jam-packed. So Tom Nichols leads us off. After I'll update on all of the developments of the morning. There's so much breaking and developing. But Tom Nichols joins us again. He's a frequent guest talking about talent, not race, should determine who creates public art in Philadelphia. So it's another way that DEI has crept into our universe. And so we'll, he'll bring us up to date on that. I'm really excited for my friend Christine Flowers to return and give us some updates as to what she's up to regarding the Cavalcante, the Philly election outlook, and as well what happened yesterday in Philadelphia City Council, some important votes about those injection sites. So we'll check in on all things Christine Flowers. At 11, my friend Artie Martino, who is from Central Bucks School District, met her, had a great time on Monday night in Bucks County. So we'll check in with Artie on a great, awesome event that's happening next week, but also the school board. And this is really where it's at. I mean, she's a brilliant engineer and somebody who never imagined that she would even be talking about politics with regard to her children's education now.
Yep.
You know, and we talk about this all the time, but we'll get the update from Artie. So, wow, we're just jam-packed. Just a great morning.
All right,
what are you
good
laughing at?
He's laughing. I'm just looking at.
He's reading the chat.
I'm reading the chat.
Oh, what do they say?
I love 91LXX. 91LXX is my favorite.
What did you say?
No, it's not.
Is it?
John on YouTube says, Greg, make Nick wash your car and video it.
Yeah. Topless.
Topless. Show your double A's.
Mustard.
We're talking about breast size.
Oh, boy. All right, let's wrap it up on a Friday with Who Won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
In Exile in Jersey wins Twitter. He says, of course Dove soap would support fat liberation. If you have more skin, you use more soap.
Oh,
I mean, it's
calculated move.
It's true.
It's lotion.
Some of us use like a quarter-size body wash squeeze. Some of us use a whole handful.
A quarter size? That's all you use?
Oh, I don't have any hair, so.
No, I mean on your skin.
Well, you know, Bidenomics, man. Bidenomics. And I take 2 showers a day. Remember that. I got to save on
He's conserving.
supplies.
You use the Aloofa.
I
love the Loofah.
Little Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right.
That did wonders for his career, didn't it?
All right, that's it for us. Have a great rest of your Friday. Stay tuned.
Pick up Kayal and Company merch.
Yeah.
Pick up all the merch.
Get your mugs.
1210wpht.com. Get it all. Come on.
T-shirts. Just start doing your Christmas shopping early.
Yeah. It's
beautiful.
All right, Dawn Show coming up next. We're back Monday, and as our favorite bus driver would say to wrap up a week.
Sick of you. I'm sick of all of this shit. I'm done with it.
Me too.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is